Perfect.
Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie, support Abby's Window, get a Shenanigans shirt, whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday night. Welcome to our show. It's been a little while again since we've been here. We seem to say that a lot, but that's how it seems to happen. I don't know why that is. We're going to, you know what? One of the things we'll promise in the new year is try to be a little more consistent with this because we enjoy doing it. And we just have to just figure out a schedule so that we can keep it a little more consistent. So we definitely will be looking forward to doing that. One of our shows, don't forget, in January on this show here will be our award show. So just don't forget that. That is on its way. If you haven't voted, please do so. The link is up on our Twitter. It's up on Facebook. It's on our YouTube page as well. So please go and vote if you have not already done so. So, man, Jeff, what's going on? It's nice to be back, and a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah, lots going on in wrestling. Lots going on all over the place, and we'll get to a lot of it this evening.
We absolutely will. So, a few things. Tomorrow, Abby's Window, 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is pretty much a can't miss episode. If you haven't been out for a little while at Abby, stop by tomorrow because there is a lot going on with what happened on Friday. Please remember one thing. We will not discuss what happened on the tapings. They're out there. I know a lot of people have seen them, but it is not going to, we are not about spoilers. Okay. I don't like doing it because while yes, the information's out there and you could say, well, not everybody's seen it. Not everybody chooses to. And, you know, it kind of ruins it for us when we do a watch along for that show because we'll be watching along to see what happens. And we will not be discussing that. So don't come out expecting that that's going to happen. It won't. And I'll get into that in my grievance a little bit. But yes, Abby's Window tomorrow. It will be Jeff and of course Jody and of course Dom. And I think there might just be a special guest. So join in for that tomorrow. And Abby's at 6. And then, of course, Impact Wrestling, Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That probably will be, and I keep saying it every week, but that probably will be the last one, I would think, for the year. So, but we'll see. They've surprised us before. One of them has to be their awards show, so I'd imagine it'll be the last one, the one the following week. Okay, let me welcome some people in, and we'll dig right in because we have got a lot to cover. So Brandon Wayne Lewis is here. What's up, Brandon? DJB Tazzy, it's an insider's party, baby, is here. What's up, Tazzy? How are you? Derek, I was going to Derek next. That's why I said D. Greg is here. Anthony is here. Jason Peace, Dylan, Big Dan. Yeah, that was a crazy way to end a football game, Big Dan. One of the craziest things I've ever seen, which is nuts. There have been a lot of crazy stuff. The Vikings coming back, the biggest comeback ever in a football game. And yeah, it's been a crazy weekend in football. Jason Peace, bonus baby. Brittany K is here. Hey, Brittany. James Grant, Sean Susslitz. I need a pop from my airing of grievances. Yeah. We have breaking news in a minute. James Chadwick says, yo. Derek Fleming says, Jeff, yeah, we'll hang on. This is it. Hang on. David Paul says, what a great weekend. Well, not so much for me and Jeff. Barry Monkey says, hello, everyone. Let's see who else we have here. RK Shuttlesworth from Twitch is here. Sean Rousset is here. We've got Jeremy is here. David Paul is here. The Coog is here. We've got Conrad in the house. We've got Bonus Baby. And we've got Mark. So normally we'll do breaking news. The breaking news is that Jeff and my team are headed toward the Loser Bowl. So the Cowboys and the Bucks are probably going to end up playing one another. Now, granted, they both could end up losing out and miss the playoffs totally, which the way they're playing, that could happen. Dallas has the Eagles. Yeah, they're not winning that. They have the Titans. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one because we can't stop any runs, and they have Derrick Henry, who's the best runner in football. And then we have the Commanders, who may be playing for a playoff spot, so they could lose out. If Tampa could lose to the Carolina Panthers, and if that happens, Carolina will win the division. So they both could completely miss. But otherwise, if they don't and they get a win or so here and there, they could meet in what could be one of the worst playoff games ever. So, yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible. So yes, Jeff, I know I was talking to Jeff. I texted him when I got back home, and we just can't do anything but shake our heads about football.
Yeah. Football this year has not been very kind. From a college perspective, being a Clemson Tigers fan, from a NFL perspective, being a Bucks fan, it has not been a very good year, to say the very least. And what's really crazy about it is that the Bucks, if they somehow figure out how to hold on to the ball, not turn it over, maybe, just maybe, they could win a couple games. Because honestly, at this point, it's like a race to 7.
Yep.
So whoever wins that division could very well be 7-10 and host a home playoff game.
Yep. Yep. That's the screwy business of the NFL. You could be under 500 and still end up hosting a playoff game. And like I said, if it ends up where Dallas is situated into the 5 seed, they probably can't do any better. They could drop to 7 if they do horribly, and could miss the playoffs if certain things happen. But because there was that tie between the Commanders and the Giants earlier this season, that probably can't happen. So they'll probably make it, but still. And then they would end up playing in Tampa. And I have no confidence, zero, that the Cowboys would win that. So we've lost 5 defensive starters now in the last 2 weeks. We have Mike McCarthy, who again proved himself to be one of the worst decision makers in football. Called a play today that it blew my mind, and it probably cost him the game. And he's trying to defend it. I can't. I can't. Anyway. There's the football talk. So hello, Caleb. How are you? Even the good team struggled this weekend. The Eagles were losing to the Bears for a little while. Yeah. But it was funny. That game was weird. The Bears tried to give them a dose of their own medicine. Their quarterback was basically doing what Hurts was doing. And yeah, it was like seeing a mirror image of two teams playing one another for a while. But then, of course, the talent takes over eventually. So, yeah. So there you go. A little bit of football here. Very little. Very little. All right. We're going to get into it because, again, we've got a lot of stuff. There really wasn't any breaking wrestling news, at least today and yesterday. Other than just shout out quickly, Jeff. Congrats to Scott D'Amore and Giselle Shaw.
Yeah.
4-year anniversary she posted today, and that's amazing. I had no clue. I had no idea that they were a couple. They showed, they were on or at different appearances and stuff like that, but it seemed like no one really talked about it. But congrats to them. That's awesome. She showed pictures of when the relationship started and today. So it's very cool that the two of them are together. I know Jeff didn't know either. So yeah, cool thing, Jeff.
Yeah, I was caught off guard by it too. So but good for them. I'm happy for them. And
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's get into it, Jeff, and let's get right into our first news topic. So let's go into it.
First news topic. And that's not the one that I wanted, but we'll go with that one first. We'll go with that one first while I pull up the other one.
All righty. Well, wasn't this a big thing? This happened, of course. Mandy lost her title to Roxanne on NXT on Tuesday night, and then not long after, we had heard. And in fact, it's funny because I didn't even know until I posted to a tweet that Tazzy was involved in. So I have to give a shout out to Tazzy because I didn't even know. I was doing other things and I didn't even see it. And I had mentioned that, well, it's probably lost. Somebody asked, why did we think she lost? And I said, well, probably because she's going to the main roster. Well, little did I know. And then Tazzy said, yeah, no, she's not. They released her. I was like, what? So I had to go and look, and I checked everything out and looked to see what happened. And here, she was released, and I'm sure you all know the story. First of all, a couple of things. One, there's been no official announcement of a release. Zero. None. WWE did not come out and make that official. You all know what that official announcement is. We, thank her for her time in WWE, and we wish her luck on her future endeavors. That was not officially done. There was no official release statement from WWE. So that's first. Shocking, yes. Why it was done, after you think about it a little bit, not so shocking. Okay. I know that a lot of you probably fished out on social media and found said pictures. It's on a fan site. Now, a lot of wrestlers do this. Okay. This is not uncommon. They go to these fan sites and they put up pictures, that are not safe for children. Let's just call them that. So this is done by a lot of people. However, and I'm going to let Jeff talk on this too, because I know he's got some opinions about this. In fact, it'll carry over to our grievances segment. So segue. But one of the things that was pointed out, and I will shout out Busted Open. I listened to their episode today that was talking about Mandy, so I'll shout them out because they brought up really good points. One thing you have to remember, number one, and Bully Ray talked about their contracts. So when you sign a contract as a wrestler, and Jeff might even be able to speak about this as well because he was from the business. When you sign a contract, you pretty much can be fired for anything. They're very, very, the contracts, he compared them. Oh, I can't remember now, but he compared them to some, it's like a wrestler and this profession's contracts are similar in the fact that if you, Bully said, if you go out and are told to do a move set and you miss one of the moves or don't do one correctly, you can be fired. It's that simple. They can state that in the contract that way. Okay. So the contract could have had something in there. The other thing is, and I thought this was very, very interesting. She could have been let go because a sponsor, and this is, LaGreca was talking about this. So a sponsor, like let's say an action figure sponsor or USA Network or someone else came out and said, we don't like this. Okay. LaGreca compared it to him working for XM Radio. And, maybe LaGreca curses too much or something on air, and they come out and say to him, listen, you need to tone it down. And if not, you're no longer working here. So it could have been a sponsor. The reason he thinks so, and after hearing this, I kind of tend to agree. She came out with a note to her fans on that site saying that the statement she made was that the pictures are, she thanked everybody for the support. And then she said the pictures haven't been taken down, which leads you to believe or wonder if that's true. Was she told or asked to take them down? And if that's the case, then, and you would assume that she said no. And if you do that, you're in breach of contract. If if WWE came to her and said, hey, somebody came to us, whomever it may be, and said they didn't like this, can you take them down? And she says no, she is choosing to breach her contract. And in that case, they have every right to say, well, then you don't work for us anymore. It's really that simple. Now think what you will. And again, I'm going to let Jeff mostly delve into this because I know he wants to talk about it in his grievance and stuff, because it is, what you saw on the socials blow up was a tremendous amount of support, which is fine. You can support a person all you want to about whatever they choose to do. But the thing is, you do need to remember that when you're working for someone, James Chadwick said apparently it was Mattel. So see, that's a sponsor of action figures and toys, right? Which would make a lot of sense because action figure sponsors and toy sponsors do not want a wrestler that they are doing action figures and toys of to have these sort of pictures out on the internet. Just makes sense. So that's it, So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't support her for doing what she wants to do. And if that's her choice and she'd rather do that and say, well, you know what? Hell with this. I don't need that. Okay, cool. That's perfectly fine. But on the other hand, all the people that are out there just shouting out, oh my God, WWE sucks, blah, 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 blah. They suck. Oh, they're at it again. Oh, why is it they're okay with her wearing skimpy clothes on wrestling shows and her, that has absolutely zero to do with this. Nothing. She was let go for a reason. And it wasn't because of that. They didn't let her go because she's wearing skimpy clothes. Okay. In fact, I think there was a story about Athena saying that she didn't want to dress like Mandy did. And that was one of the reasons why she didn't want to stick around anymore. So obviously Mandy was okay with that, or she would have maybe left sooner. The thing is, it just, I think, got very blown up. And we don't know the reason. We didn't get an official statement, but I think it just got very blown up over what really turned out to be, if it was indeed Mattel, something that was a legit reason to let her go, especially if she said, no, I'm not taking him down. What do you think, Jeff?
I have a lot that I think about this. Like you said earlier, I'm going to get to it in my grievance. But for me, we don't know all of the details.
Right.
And we probably will never know all of the details. But and Conrad, we're gonna get there because I have a lot to say about that. We actually have a topic in Sell or No Sell.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing I'll say is this: if she was given the opportunity to correct whatever the issue was, and she denied that and said, nope, I'm gonna still do it my way, then I get that. I get the decision. Do I agree with it based on some other things that have been done and not done with WWE? as it relates to talent um and you can say selective punishments is what I'll get to at some point, but yeah, I just think that if they gave her the opportunity and she didn't take it, that's one thing. But um, again, a lot of it at this point is assumptions.
Right.
We don't know everything there is to know in terms of a contract. These companies, whether we want to admit it or not, companies like WWE, the way that those contracts are written are not beneficial to the talent.
Right.
Um, it makes it a lot easier for the organization, the company, to get out of a contract than it is for a talent to get out of a contract, and it's written that way for a reason. So you just never know what's in these contracts, what deals they strike up with other companies and that kind of thing, and what their clauses are. But um, I I will speak a lot more about it in my grievance, because that's where my main issue with all of this is the fact that people um will take the opportunity to chime in on something that a lot of them don't even care to follow.
Mm.
It's more of an opportunity to voice an opinion that you've drawn for another reason, but now this is your opportunity to spew that again. So like I said, I'll get into that and when we get to the grievances.
So there you go. So Jeff will talk about that in his grievance. Yeah, I agree. And I think with a lot of this stuff, it becomes a me versus you where it shouldn't be a me versus you. It should be something personal between that person and the company they worked for. It doesn't necessarily have to be let's take sides, because again, like Jeff pointed out, we don't know. We don't know. And here's the thing: we may never know. We may never find out. It's really nobody's business. Once it I'm sure is definitely under a non-compete clause. I'm sure. It's probably 90 days. Maybe it's a little less. I don't know, but I'm sure she is. Once that gets finished and she goes wherever she decides to go, whether it be in wrestling or whatever, she can then probably tell her side of the story. But other than that, we may never know what the cause was. It's speculation at this point. Nobody really knows. And again, Bonus Baby saying, for those complaining, go to your job tomorrow and do something outside your job's rules and see what happens to you. Again, like, I work for a national retail chain. If I went on my personal social media and put stuff and now I make it a point not to try to have people from my work on my social media, because that's not a good move to begin with. But if I went on there and I put things up that were risque and the company knew about it, I'm sure I would get told about it too. That's just how it is. It's unfortunate, but again, this wasn't something that happened 20 years ago because we didn't have social media. You didn't have ways to get yourself into trouble. Now there are. And it's very easily accessible and very easy to do stuff. I get it. She's trying to make some money for herself. And okay, that's fine. Whatever, listen, you're more than welcome to do that. Whatever you want to do. If you want to get yourself a little bit more money and whatever you're trying to do, go for it. As long as it's legal and stuff like that, go for it. But yeah. All right. So we'll get to that a little later in grievances. What do we got next?
All right. Up next, we have Uncle Howdy showed up on SmackDown, and much to the surprise of many people.
Yeah, so we were told by Rob Fee, who is the head of long-term creative, to make sure we didn't miss SmackDown. And boy, was he right. Risky photos coming? No, absolutely not. That's funny though. Yeah, we were told to watch, and we did. And wow, first we got the TikTok video thing. which was cool in itself. And then we got the promo from LA Knight, and then we got him stomping out Bray. And then the next thing you know, out comes Howdy, right? Says, and I love this, Jeff, and I don't know if you caught this. I'm sure you did. But when he came out, and of course, the little pig, love that because it reminded me of Negan on The Walking Dead when he did that. And then when he says, do you want to see something really scary? Right away, boom, Twilight Zone movie. Right away. Yep. I knew it. As soon as I'm listening to it, I'm like, do you want to see something really scary? I even shared the clip, Dan Aykroyd, on our Twitter page. And it was tremendous. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, I wonder if Bray watched the Twilight Zone movie when he was a kid. I love one of my favorite movies of back then. There's such tragedy around that film. But I as soon as I heard it, and I'm like, that's brilliant. And then, of course, we saw him come out. Now we'll go over this. Jeff and the crew will go over this on Abby's tomorrow, more in detail. But what a moment! First of all, that LA Knight standing in the ring, shocked because the question is, and I guess we went over this too, and then again, this will be covered tomorrow. Howdy came out, or did he? That's the question. So many people right away, and all the dirt sheets, I loved it because all the dirt sheets, and this kind of shows you how a lot of them think. A lot of them are coming out saying, we got to see Uncle Howdy, and he's two different characters. It's not Bray Wyatt. It's not Bray Wyatt. It's not. Are we so sure about that? Are we so sure? And everybody, and I put that up on our Twitter, and people are arguing with me like, well, what do you mean? You saw him. Oh, yeah, we did. Have you ever watched a movie with someone in the movie that is multiple personality? Because you know what? You see their characters too. You're supposed to see the other. That's how it goes. And then you'll see the other one as well, right? How is wrestling different from a film or a movie? Not much sometimes. It's entertainment, right? So was he really there? Bray looking around like he was confused at the end of the match, Jody pointed out. Going back and forth. Like, did you guys see that? Now, LA Knight, yes, he rolled out of the ring and stuff like that, but the whole point of it is you wonder, Jeff, if he's going deeper. It seems like Bray likes to tell very deep stories, right? Yeah. And now Howdy coming out and becoming a full-on character, right? That's going to be in the ring all the time, which is what some of these dirt sheets are assuming. Oh, now he's going to be in the ring. You're going to see him all the time. He's going to wrestle. He's going to pump the brakes. Because, number one, first of all, look at it in a logical way. He ain't wrestling with that mask. There is no way, no how. That mask is a thick plastic mat. There is no way he wrestles with that match. Okay. Number one. Now, sure. Does somebody have to portray him to be there? Absolutely. Who can it be? Is it Bo Dallas, Dutch Vincent? Yeah, Deanna says it could be any of them, or could not be anyone. Some people said it might have been Jason Baker, the guy that created the mask, which it could have been. He was one of the people dressed up in the costumes when Bray first came back. So just pump the brakes a little bit, because I don't think, Jeff, that he's just going to send someone down and just come in and be another fake wrestler. I still say, and we'll see if I'm right somewhere down the road, I still say he's going to wrestle with his own personalities. And there are other people who think the same thing. And if that is the case, that means he's going to remember, guys, remember what Bray is booked as on WWE right now. He's booked as the number one face of SmackDown. Face. You think Uncle Howdy's a face? Don't think so. Nope. So let's just remember how this is going to go. But I really think that they're going to fight at some point, the two of them, when they get past this LA Knight thing, maybe. And I think some wrestler is going to have to portray him. I don't know how they'll wrestle exactly again, because that mask is so thick and stuff, but I do think they're going to fight. And that's how I think it's going to go. But Jeff, what did you think of the whole Howdy thing? And I know, a lot, of course, to be covered tomorrow on Abby's.
Yeah, I thought that this was a cool spin on what they were doing, because I know that a lot of people had the theory that this was all in Bray's head, and Howdy was just
Right.
in his head. And then we started seeing the stuff with Howdy and LA Knight, and then you started getting some other theories, and we're going to talk about a bunch of them tomorrow. But yeah, it's I thought it was really cool. It was unexpected for sure, because I don't think anyone said that we were going to get, you know, Howdy on
Right.
screen in front of the crowd, uh, before the end of this year, or ever for that
Mhm.
matter. So I think it's pretty cool. But the other thing that it does that I really like is it brings it allows people to kind of get engaged with the story, and you start to say, like, okay, well, who can it be? Obviously it wasn't Bray standing there and in the ring.
Yep.
So who was it, and what is this supposed to represent? So I mean, it's really cool that you can do all of these different theories and thoughts and go down these different trails in terms of um what they're doing from a storyline standpoint. But I thought it was really cool, and I can't wait to break it down further tomorrow, and really dig deep on some of the theories and what folks are thinking.
Yeah, and the fact that he kind of just stood there, came
Yeah.
out. It's really a cool character when you break it down too, because he's almost like a horror ringmaster
Mhm.
with the hat, and even how he came out and he kind of just tipped the.
Tip the hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very classic villain
Mhm.
thing to do. And so I like the look, and then how he just kind of stood there and he grabbed the lapels, and that's why everybody was saying it was Dutch, because Dutch does that. He grabs the lapels on his jacket. He posed with pictures like that. But so he did that as well. And so I just like it. He's very freaky, and all he did, but see, and that's the thing. Just another little quick tidbit. He didn't go running down to the ring to help Bray, did he?
Mm-mm.
He stood on the entranceway. He didn't move. So he didn't make a move on LA Knight. He didn't go after LA Knight at all. He didn't come out to help Bray. He just stood there and laughed. And one other thing I'll just leave you with for tomorrow for Abby's, and you could all think about this one. When he's talking and he's saying, "Little pig, what have you done?" Who's he talking to? Is he talking to LA Knight or is he not? I'll just leave it with that. And of course, the team with Abby's will go into this way more tomorrow. So make sure you join Abby at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. I think that was a Luke Harper tribute. There were a lot. Very, very cool. Good point. The yes, both by LA Knight and by Bray. That was fantastic. And then, of course, Michael Cole as well, saying it's Friday. You know what that means. So very, very cool tributes to John Huber, aka Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, what's next?
All right, man. Up next, we have, oh boy. Oh, never mind. I'm supposed to be objective and not form an opinion before we put this up on the screen. But reports are that Vince McMahon wants to return to the WWE.
I don't get to do this much anymore, so I want to make a comeback. I can't use my Vince voice anymore because he's not around. But yes, I have to read Conrad's comment. Shit is scary, Joe. Knock it off, LOL. Yeah. So it came out last week that the lawsuit stuff. I don't know. I guess it's ongoing, or else it's closing soon. I don't know. But then there were comments made about how Vinnie Mac wants to make a comeback. What does that mean? I don't think anybody really knows. It was probably a comment that Vince threw out there to some media place somewhere, and it went spread like wildfire. First off, let me just say this. I liken him to the owner of my Cowboys. They're both billionaires, and what does a billionaire want and like? Probably more than anything else in his life, money. Money. That's why they're who they are. And I know people are saying, oh no, he's going to come back and he's going to fire Triple H and get rid of Stephanie and he's going to take over again and he's going to do all this stupid stuff and he's going to get rid of people again and he's going to do releases and pump the brakes. This is something that came out in the media. Number one, remember that. Okay. Media loves to embellish and that's what sells stuff, right? It sells clicks and it just sells. And this was released. And so to put fear into everybody that loves WWE, oh my God, is this really going to happen? Is he really going to happen? He sees and knows. If you guys don't think that he's kind of, I'm not going to say doing things behind the scenes, but you don't think that Triple H is talking to his father-in-law? I mean, come on. It doesn't matter if they're doing it in an office or they're talking on the phone or they're just seeing each other at family events. They're going to talk, right? It's not like Triple H said, oh my God, you got into this lawsuit. I'm not talking to you ever again. So, he isn't going to come back and jeopardize the business that's going on right now because he sees the numbers just like everyone else does. He knows what they're doing now and what's working better and what's not. One thing I don't think he is stupid. Now, he made really dumb decisions along the way, which a lot of people do. And of course, I'm not condoning it. It was awful what he did. Do I want him back? No. Do I think it's necessary to have him back? No. But I just think that, again, this was something that was put out there. It got out there in the story. I think the story got embellished, and right away, when people read it, they thought, oh my God. Right away, everybody went to the worst. Oh my God, he's going to come back and he's going to take over. He's going to get rid of Triple H. He's going to fire. He's going to get rid of Bray again. No, he's not. Because ultimately, sometimes you realize when you make mistakes, and the way you see that is when you see something is succeeding. The business is succeeding now, right? A lot of the stuff is succeeding more than when he was there. So, yeah, I don't think it's that big of an issue. Could it have ramifications, Conrad just said, with the stocks and things like that, and a business side of it? Maybe. But again, if you guys think that he's going to come back and he's going to tear it all down and he's going to change everything again, and everybody that got brought back is going to get let go again, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. That would be really, really, really dumb. And as much as I said that he makes stupid decisions, I don't think he's dumb. You don't get to be a billionaire by being dumb. So that's my opinion on it, Jeff.
Wouldn't it be nice to win the lottery tomorrow, like the Mega Millions or the Powerball or something like that?
I'd say.
Wouldn't it be nice to find the fountain of youth and never age?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a nice juicy steak on your table, and like a 72-ounce steak, like a tomahawk steak?
Yes.
My point with all of this is all stuff that we want, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get it. So Vince can want to return. He can leak that information and people can be able to report that out. So there's a little buzz because he's trying to keep his name relevant.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, they would be stupid to allow him to return in any capacity other than what he has right now. Now, I understand that he still owns a majority of stocks and all of that stuff from a business standpoint. But from a creative standpoint, letting him back and having control over that, I can't see it. And I think it will be really detrimental to everything that they've done. They've done a lot of great things. They've had some missteps too, but they've done a lot of great things since Triple H has taken over, and they've had this new regime. But I just think it'd be a huge mistake, and you're going to get rid get rid of a lot of the goodwill that you've built up with fans over this period of time.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it'll be something that we necessarily have to worry about. I just honestly think sometimes with these billionaires, and especially someone like Vince McMahon, ego is always involved, and when they don't feel that they have a spotlight, they have their ways of leaking things out there, getting word around to people,
Yep.
to let them know that, hey, I feel like the fire is cooling down a little bit. Let's put something out to get my name trending again. So I think that's what a lot of this was.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of ado about nothing. I think that's I agree. That's what I think it is. I think it leaked out, and like Jeff said, it could have been leaked purposely. But they do. And like I said, I compare him all the time to Jerry because I think they're good friends too. But I compare them all the time to each other because what does Jerry like to do? He does it on his radio show every week. He gets these little things out there. The whole big thing with the Cowboys was, is Odell Beckham going to go there? He's still talking about it. And even though I said Odell can't play probably until sometime deep in the playoffs, if at all this year, he's still talking about it on his radio show. Oh, we're going to sign him. We're going to sign him. They want to be relevant. They have this desire to want to have their names in the media. That's why Jerry comes down every single time and does interviews with the media after the game. You don't see that happen with other teams. It's the coach. It's the players. No, Jerry needs to do it. So they need to have their names out there. They need to be on a camera. They love to be in front of that. And Vince is the same way. I agree with Jeff. I think it's a lot of ado about nothing. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Tazzy said he'd love to win the lotto. Wouldn't we all, my friend? Wouldn't we all? Bonus Baby said, wouldn't it be nice? Yes. I want to have muscles and a six-pack and a blonde. All right, James. All righty then. Yes, the same goes with Jerry Jones. Yes, I said I compare them all the time. Yes. All right, man. What's next?
All right, up next, we've got an update on Sasha Banks. We've been hearing a lot of stuff going on about her potential whereabouts come the turn of the calendar.
Yeah, the latest, of course, on her, and it seems like she's another person that is constantly, her name is out there, whether it be on social media or she was at a Boston Celtics game, or she's certainly keeping herself relevant, which is smart. But the latest is that she is going to be in New Japan Pro Wrestling to do one of their big events, and she's going to wrestle there apparently. And then after that, nobody's really too sure. There are of course, tons of speculation, and a lot of it is with who is going to be Soraya's tag team partner that hasn't been announced yet on AEW. We know that New Japan has been working a lot with AEW now. They did that dual pay-per-view, and their wrestlers have been steadily on that program. So a lot of people are figuring, okay, well, that's a door that would be open to her had she chosen to do that. Here's what I think about Sasha. Number one, I don't think she needs wrestling. I just don't. Does she want to? That's the whole thing that I guess you have to ask yourself. And Triple H made mention of that, 3 months ago in an interview, when people were asking him to name names, and they named Bray's name, and then he said Sasha. And really the only thing he said about Sasha was it's about the want to. Does she want to come back? And maybe she doesn't. She might be having fun. She might be having fun doing what she's doing and not risking her body. Think about how hard professional wrestling is. Think about the road that they have to be on, how many days a year, and never be home with anyone, their family, their significant other, whatever the case might be. So maybe she's enjoying life as it is now. She's always at movie premieres. She's going to be in Mandalorian season 3, which comes out in March. So she's doing all right, and maybe she just doesn't need wrestling, and maybe that's what Triple H meant. She might want to do Japan because Japan might be something she would have never been able to do with WWE. Although now you're starting to see, the stuff with Carl Anderson, they're maybe making a little different leeway now with Triple H in charge and Stephanie. But Japan is for wrestlers is something completely different. They like going there because it's just, it's so fun to see it and to be there and experience that I'm sure that's probably why Sasha wants to do it. Where does it go after that? I don't really know. And I don't think anybody really does. It's going to be totally up to her. Could she have an in with AEW? Probably an easy one. So I would think that would be the easiest place for her to show up. Question is, does she have any animosity toward WWE? The regime that was passed, maybe, but does she have it now? Well, one of her biggest gripes, Jeff, and I'll turn this over to you, but one of her biggest gripes was the women's tag team titles, right? And the relevancy. Has that changed? Not much.
No.
Not much. They haven't made them any more relevant than they were before. So they really didn't correct it, even though Vince isn't there, right? So if that was her big thing, that the reason why she left, well, that hasn't certainly been taken care of. Would that be corrected by going to AEW? No. So if that's really what she was about, or really what she wanted to see happen, neither did. And I don't really think that she's going to get that almost anywhere. Even Impact now, they're really, you don't really see too much of Impact women's titles anymore. I mean, obviously the Death Dolls have them now, but it just lost a little bit of its luster when some of these other teams that were there left that recently that they had. So yeah, I don't know. With this, I just like to think that it's whatever Sasha feels like doing. And whatever she wants to do, I wish her well. If she comes back to wrestling, great. If not, that's great too.
Yeah. I mean, I think, from a wrestling perspective, she's talented. She is a great performer. So, yeah, she'll definitely be missed if she doesn't come back to WWE. I think, those that have tried to say it's not a huge loss for WWE are mistaken, because that is a huge loss. I feel like she's great. But she holds the cards at this point. If she's been released from her contract, or that's what the reports are saying, that date is coming, or whatever it is, she can go wherever. Because of the notoriety that and success that she was able to create in WWE, she is going to be a hot commodity to these other promotions. So yeah, she's in a great position to kind of name her price in some ways. And I think someone posted the interview that she did with Steve Austin, and I thought some of those comments were very interesting, that she made even back then. And you could kind of see the writing on the wall, and looking at it now in hindsight, it's like, okay, she was angling for more money or a different contract even then. And I think the whole thing with the tag team championships just might have been the thing that pushed it over the edge. But, I know some people are kind of on the outs with her because of how things were done, but she holds the cards now, and wherever she goes, I wish her the best. I think she's talented, and I'd love to see wherever she goes. I think she'll be a huge asset.
Yeah, no doubt. Wherever she ends up, if she chooses to go back to wrestling, if she chooses to stay in the entertainment world, whatever, whatever she does, I'm sure she'll do it well. Hopefully Bailey can talk her into coming back. Sasha would be a huge star in AEW for about 3 weeks and end up on Dark like the rest. Sorry I'm late to Zeke. No worries at all. Sasha's going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. Yes. On January 4th. Yep. All right. What's next, dude?
All right. Up next, we got a massive upset on AEW this past week, and has the wrestling world buzzing.
Yes. Action Andretti, right? The only Andretti I knew before Action Andretti was Mario Andretti, the racer, IndyCar, right? I don't really even watch a lot of IndyCar, but I knew who Mario Andretti was. If you know, he was known well in racing, but I don't think he won many. I know he won one. I don't know that he won many, but Action Andretti. All we remember talking about Chris Jericho saying how he was going to go beat this jobber, right? I'm going to go beat this jobber and get my winning streak back and stuff like that. The couple things I'll say about this. Some people were comparing this to the 1-2-3 Kid. Different time, different era, right? I don't know. Did anybody really not? I mean, I guess you can. What I looked at it was the reactions of the crowd. The crowd was into the match, right? There's no doubt about it. When they first came out, I thought a lot of the crowd probably just figured like, oh, this is going to be a Jericho squash. And then as it went on, and you kind of saw this playing out, the crowd was really, really into it. And then at the end, they were like shocked, like amazed that he won. And so in that respect, you have to give them a lot of kudos for that, because they got the crowd really super behind this guy. And at the end, they were all cheering for him. They all wanted him to win. So the one thing I will say about this, Jeff, is so many people complain about the veterans in wrestling. So many people. And yet, here's a situation where a veteran who has done everything there is to do in the sport has now put over a guy who a lot of people prior to this haven't heard his name, did not know who he was. Yes, he was on AEW, so I'm not even talking about hardcore AEW's fans. I'm talking about just the general public. Now you know who he is, because the veteran was able to get in that ring and do what he does best. Put the guy over. The heel put over the face. I liken it to what's going on in Impact with Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray, who a lot of people complained about. A lot of people bitched and moaned about. Why are we bringing these old guys back? You know what? The old guys know how to do things. That promo with Dreamer and Bully Ray, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. A guy doing a promo and he's literally in tears. It's phenomenal work. These guys know what they're doing. They've been around for so long because they know how to do stuff. And Chris Jericho's no different. He's at that point in his career where he's going to start doing more of this. And man, Jeff, did he, like I said, just that reaction from the crowd, did he put this kid over? Now everyone knows who he is. He could end up being an instant star in that company.
Yeah.
Now it has to be treated right. I'm sure that there's steps and stuff that they're going to have to take now, but kudos to him. I thought it was a really, really cool moment, and the fans and stuff in that building. It's one thing they'll never forget. That'll be a moment in wrestling they'll remember for a long time, because you can bet the fans that were there for the 1-2-3 Kid thing probably never forgot it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I love to see. And let's say 15 years from now, let's say Andretti's like a huge star.
Mm-hmm.
People will be able to point to this very moment and say, remember when one of the best wrestlers ever. I feel like Chris Jericho belongs on the list. I don't know, where people want to put him, but I think his name has to be mentioned. But put him over, and did so in a way that threw this groundswell of, support for this guy. So I think it's awesome. I can go ahead and tell you right now that Bully Ray and Dreamer's promo, that's going to be in in a later segment, and one of my favorite moments of the week because
Yeah,
it was tremendous.
it really was.
Yeah, I think this was great, and this is how you continue to build new stars because the vets won't always be there. There's going to come a time when Chris Jericho is going to hang up the boots. There's going to be a time when you have people like John Cena and The Rock who won't do it even part time, and then you'll start phasing out people like Roman Reigns, and then you got to continue to create this new crop of stars. And I think that it was awesome to see.
Yeah, it really was. And how many people in the same vein? How many people bitched and moaned about Jeff Jarrett? There's another one, and yet look what he just did. He just went after probably the top faces in that company right now. In the Acclaimed, oh my God, people love these dudes. Mm-hmm. He went out there and he attacked both of them. You don't think that that's getting heat? That's the way you get heat. And this is coming from Jeff Jarrett, a guy who everybody said, "Oh my God, here comes this washed up dude from WWE. Now he's coming and we can't stand him. We don't want him here." Look what he just did. He's going to make the Acclaimed even more over than what they already are, if you can even believe it. So it's not always a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. Now, you're going to have the one-offs and stuff here and there where the athletes maybe aren't as selfless that are doing this. Goldberg. Sorry. But yeah, I just think it's tremendous. It's like Jeff said, it's a wonderful way to say it. It builds the business. It builds the business. And like he said, it's hard to imagine this, but listen, look at how old some of our favorites are now, right? Mm-hmm. Not that they're old. I mean, I'm older than many of them. Bray Wyatt's what? Mid-30s?
Yeah.
35, 36 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be around for another maybe if he wants to be, maybe what? 8 years? Maybe around there. They get across 40 and it starts to be a situation where, wow. And sometimes we don't think that way, but yeah, it's something you have to consider. So good stuff. All right, man. Yeah, what's up next?
All right. Up next, Danielson making an appearance. I mean, MJF, he's going to have a tough time, huh?
It was brought up that MJF, because some people were saying in that match with Ricky Starks that there were some botches and there were some things that didn't look all that crisp and clean and things like that. MJF, I think, has only wrestled a total, I want to say, I looked it up. I think it was a total of, if I got it right and counted them all right, I think 9 times. 9 times in this whole past year. 9 times. Now, that's like Roman Reigns numbers, right? That's like maybe, but 9 times. So, number one, I guess remember that he's a young dude. And when he's only wrestling that many times in a year, you're going to see not so clean wrestling. Just as way it's going to be. Now, I can tell you that Bryan Danielson will certainly give him that anything like that where people are going to say, well, that needs to be cleaned up. This is a good feud for him to have because Bryan Danielson is one of the best all-around wrestlers that there is out there. So this will be a great feud. Obviously, it's coming from the Blackpool Combat Club thing and coming from the Regal thing. So it was just logical for it to take this next step there. Kudos to Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks got over. A lot of people now know who he is. He had that early title shot, and I'm sure there will be more title shots for him down the line. It wasn't his time, obviously, but MJF now and Bryan Danielson is going to be a main event at pay-per-view, probably their next pay-per-view, and it'll be a tremendous match. And the talk between these two guys is probably what most people are going to be waiting for because it should be really, really good.
Yeah, this will be a good challenge in terms of seeing MJF continue to elevate. James Chadwick said it. I have to agree with it. I think MJF's the best heel. in the business right now.
Yeah.
I still acknowledge my tribal chief, but MJF is like he's just the man right now. So I think this will be good for him because it'll give him a great opponent in the ring. It'll give him someone who's a veteran that he can, kind of go toe to toe with, and I like this. I really do like this, and like you said, shout out to Ricky Starks. Dude is amazing, and if you're not watching Ricky Starks and what he's doing and listening to his promo work, I mean, you're missing out. Dude is tremendous. And the last thing that I'll say, and this is this isn't the spot that we normally do this, but this is a grievance. The people that talk about all these botches and stuff.
Oh, I know.
Go
do it.
Number one, the people that we're watching are human beings. They're not robots. So human error is in that. Number two, bringing negative attention to something is not always necessary. Like, people mess up. It's okay.
Yep.
And number three, and most importantly, until I see you do the same moves,
right,
I don't think that we need to be critical of people's wrestling ability when a large portion of the population have never done it, and if they tried it, they wouldn't be able to.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
No doubt. And that happened with Top Dollar from SmackDown a lot. They jumped all over him. Listen, number one, he could have gotten hurt. Okay. Yeah. Luckily, he wasn't seriously hurt. Number two, the fact that he felt the need that he had to go out and explain himself and what happened and this and that just goes to show you, like, just be quiet. Just watch the rest. There's no need to become a critic. Like Jeff said, you want to be a critic of something, go out and try it first. And see how hard it actually is to do, and then come to it from a place of knowledge. Criticize from knowledge, not from afar from your desktop chair where you never leave your house. Criticize it from the point of view of what these people do. Go and try, like Jeff always says, go try take some bumps. Go try to do that. Go to a ring. I'm sure, a lot of these guys probably have money. So, take some money, go to find a local wrestling school and pay somebody to have you take a few bumps and see how that goes for you. See how that goes. You'll find out you'll have a lot more respect rather than constantly pointing that out on social media. So yeah, definitely. Good point. All right.
Thank God we don't have people watching us do our jobs on a daily basis.
Oh my God.
And calling out when we make mistakes on our jobs.
Right.
Right.
Constant.
I can see it now. That flyer I created a couple weeks ago that had a misspelling on it. Oh. I can see some troll on Twitter now saying botch. He misspelled assistant.
Yep.
Botch.
Yep.
How about botch yourself, you?
Jeff was refraining from saying something worse there. Yes. But yes, it happens in our chat. We get people in our chat do it. If we say something on here, people call us out on here. It's like, I don't care. Yeah. I'm with you guys. I don't care. Am I going to be perfect all the time? No. I'm going to say something or say a statistic or something along those lines. I'm going to do that. I'm human. That's just who cares? Who cares? Just move on. Just move on. Speaking of moving on, what do we got next?
Conrad.
Not gonna lie, you probably work with people who do that stuff anyway on the real.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Very, very true.
Oh man. So Ring of Honor. By the way, that was a good, I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I got a chance to see it. So
you got to watch it?
Yeah, I got to watch it. So I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
If you folks need to go and see that FTR and Briscoes match. That was another entry in match of the year.
Yeah, I actually put that in our poll.
Yeah.
And it's actually doing really well. So yeah, I did not get to see it. I'm gonna have to watch now though. I'm intrigued now after what you said. I did not get to see it, but I heard it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ring of Honor is back on Honor Club. Is it possible that we might be getting something next, or um, do you think TV's in the works at some point, or
Like a weekly show or something along
yeah,
those lines.
yeah,
I mean, the fact that Tony Khan bought it, you kind of knew that they were going to do something with it. It could be, as a lot of people were saying, another place to have some wrestlers that maybe weren't ever going to end up on either Dynamite or Rampage, that they could bring in. They also would have another place they could have some people come in from Dark, maybe that you don't get to see on a weekly basis. I would be okay with it. They have a big following, Ring of Honor does. I know, James Chadwick was used to watch it weekly. And it was something I never really could watch because it was on so late, and then I would just forget about it. But I might tune in. Look, especially if it's going to start, you kind of be starting over, right? It wouldn't be necessarily something that you've been watching all along. It would be something that would be kind of starting fresh. So if somebody wanted to just come, I think that's an exciting time to come into something that's new that you've never really watched before and kind of start from the beginning and be able to follow it along. I think that would attract people. And I don't think it would be a bad idea either, because again, like I said, for the reasons I mentioned already, the fact that you have the name, which is a historical wrestling promotion that fathered a lot of wrestlers that we're seeing today in both companies, not just AEW, but in WWE, with a rich history, pure wrestling tournaments that they had that I remember watching. That was something completely different than what I've seen before. So yeah, I would certainly give it a watch if they decided to just do it. Where they would do it, I don't know. Would TBS want it, or would it be on some other channel completely? Would it be maybe on a streaming, somewhere streaming, whether it be an HBO Max or something along those lines? I don't know. I'm fine with it. I think it would be okay. Listen, it would be just more wrestling for people to watch, and a new wrestling show for people to jump on board that they never saw before.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's an exciting time. I know a lot of people want a TV deal with Ring of Honor. That's probably the next progression that they need to get to, is to get a TV deal, because I feel like that will that'll bring more eyes to the product. And now, I mean, you look at some of the champions that they have now, and they're exciting to get behind, with Claudio and Athena and Samoa Joe. And I mean, this is the Briscoes. I mean, it's going to be good to see this be a weekly show. I just really hope at some point they get a TV deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Conrad said, WBD, I follow it more so for the comic book stuff. And it's constantly in the news because James Gunn, who was the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, has moved on to DC. So he's now working as kind of like their Kevin Feige equivalent. And he's doing things that it's not necessarily making a lot of the fans happy, but he's making changes. Chances are Black Adam, and I just watched Black Adam, by the way. It's on HBO Max now. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was entertaining. He played a good role. Dr. Fate, for me, stole the film. I loved that character, always did. And I loved how it was portrayed. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot better than a lot of the other DC films that have come out before it. But however, it lost a bunch of money, lost $100 million. So I don't think they're going to go forward with it. And I think they're going to stop all the stuff that they're doing with it. It seems as if he is not keeping Henry Cavill as Superman, much to a lot of people's chagrin. He's not doing any more Gal Gadot Wonder Woman stuff. They already said that that's done. So they're moving on. So like Conrad said, it's changing. They're doing a lot of different things there. and changing a lot of stuff up. They are. So I would imagine that with Ring of Honor, it could probably be something else that they'd be looking into, changing stuff up, and let's bring something new on board. So,
yeah.
HBO Max seems to be channeling their inner future endeavors. I don't think I need another show to watch, says James. No, you definitely don't need another show to watch. You would have to start pointing. You would have to start cutting some, and then switching, like a cut and switch. You'd need to start doing that. Brandon says if RH does get a TV deal, I think it starts off being an hour and then goes up to 2. Names you just named sounds like a WWE show, says Tazzy. Already too much wrestling on TV for me. One reason I mostly follow Impact is one show a week, easy to keep up with. True, it is. Okay, what's up next?
Up next, speaking of Impact got a major signing.
Wow, did they ever?
This was a big signing for them.
Yeah, this was really cool. He was on the show before for a little bit, right around the whole Honor No More time, right? But then he was gone, and then he appeared on AEW, so nobody really kind of knew what was happening with him. Obviously, things with him and AEW didn't work out, and then he was kind of gone. Nobody really knew what happened to him. I certainly didn't expect this. I don't read taping spoilers, which I'll get to in the grievance segment, but this was really cool. Did not see this coming. Did not know. And when I saw him show up this past Thursday on Impact, I was like, wow, this is big, big, big signing for Impact Wrestling to get Jonathan Gresham. He was Ring of Honor, one of the most decorated Ring of Honor wrestlers of late. And for Impact to get him, even if it's only for one of their shorter contracts, which we all know is like 1 year, maybe 2 years, even if that's all it is, I think it's still a big deal for them. That we talked about this on our after our Impact watch along last week.
Yeah,
the matches we could theorize or fantasize him having an Impact. Josh Alexander,
yeah,
Steve Macklin, and so many other matchups. Trey Miguel, I think you said.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, the
Speedball.
matches that who?
Speedball
Mike Bailey, who just had that banger with Josh Alexander. Could you imagine? Just tremendous. And I'm very excited. Being an Impact watcher every week, I'm very, very excited to see that he's back. I think it's going to be awesome for them. It's going to bring a lot of eyes, I think, to that company, even more than they're getting now. Jeff, I think it's huge.
Yeah, and again, we tend to do this, but we have a topic in Sell or No Sell that we'll get to about Impact and kind of their signings. I think this is huge for them because they've lost quite a few people. And, say what you will about developing these other people, but you also need to have a good mix of veterans in the locker room too, and people that have done it. So to have someone not only with his experience, but his pedigree is tremendous for Impact. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do down the road. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the potential matchups, and I'm really interested to see how they do this feud with Eddie, because I think this is going to be really good at Hard to Kill.
Yeah, I agree. Hard to Kill is really looking good, which, by the way, we're going to get to.
Yep.
I'm really, really excited. Again, those of you who maybe have watched Ring of Honor and maybe haven't been watching Impact, now you got a reason to come out. You really, really should watch it. You really should check it out. And come out with us and watch it, because the people in our chat that do will tell you that it's just a tremendous show. Week after week after week, we just keep getting like these amazing matches, and they're just going up. And like Jeff said, they have lost people, and a lot of times when people see them and the people leave, it's like, oh, there goes another one. Mm-hmm. But they do end up getting people back to fill those spots. Eric Young leaving, Jonathan Gresham coming in. Okay. I miss Eric Young, but let's go. So, yeah, it's good stuff. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. What have we got next, man?
Well, we got to talk about these champs, man. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns, win the Impact World Tag Team Championships again.
How good are these guys, right? Such a staple of Impact Wrestling as well. And listen, Jeff brought this up during our watch along, and it's a little kind of sad to think of. But as Jeff was saying, and he could be, well, you know what? Knowing Jeff, he probably is right, because we all know he writes the show. So we all know Jeff writes Impact. We all know that. That's no secret anymore. He brought this up and said, is maybe this their going away party? Is this maybe their saying goodbye, right? And it sucks to think about that, because I really love these guys, man. And again, I didn't, until I started watching Impact, of course I knew who they were, but I didn't get to see them wrestle all the time. And my God, the battles we've had going back to those matches with the North, and some of the best tag team wrestling I've ever seen. Yeah. That includes going back to the WWE days that I used to watch all the tag team matches constantly, and WWF even. These guys are just amazing wrestlers. The stuff that they do, they know each other so well that it almost just seems like they're constantly in sync with one another, and they should be. When you're wrestling with each other like that for so long. I'm so glad Alex Shelley came back. Of course, we didn't see him after COVID for a little bit, and then I'm so glad he came back, and I'm so glad we're getting to witness this week after week after week, and no one's more deserving of holding those titles. No offense to Heath and Rhino, right, but nobody's more deserving of holding those titles than the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm a huge fan. They have showed, even outside of the ring, things like Wrestle House when Chris Sabin was on there, that they can do stuff even when they're not champions, when they're not wrestling in tag teams. They're just tremendous at what they do, and I will be unhappy when that day does come where they decide to pack it in. But until that day, it's awesome to see. Can't wait to see. Now we got to find out who are their challengers going to be. Is it Bullet Club that they're going to rise up? Is it going to be Ace Austin and Chris Bay that are next in line? Is it Cardona and Myers? A lot of cool battles that they have in front of them now, and it's exciting stuff, dude.
Yeah, it is. And, with tag teams, honestly, you rarely see two singles guys that are tremendous singles competitors, and then they're able to come together and be even better tag team competitors. Like, it's crazy to see what they've been able to do with them. And I hate to think about it, but you just talking about longevity in this business, and how taxing it can be on your body and everything. And these guys have been going at it for years. I want to say over 20 years for both of them.
Yep.
So there comes a point in time where you have to look and say, all right, what's the next stage? Do I continue doing this, even though possibly I deteriorate from a performance standpoint, or do I walk away on top of things? And I think it's a thought. It's a thought for them. Maybe there's other things that they want to do, but I love these guys. I think they're a tremendous team. I think they're severely underrated when it comes to the general public in terms of wrestling fans. So the ones that consume WWE and AEW and other promotions, I don't think enough people give these guys the respect because they don't know them as much. And I really wish that people would go and look at what they've done in the business and see that they're definitely one of the best tag teams ever, like of all time.
Agreed, as it should be, because they really are. James Chadwick, MCMG, one of the greatest tag teams in the world. RK Shuttlesworth. These are all people that come out to watch Impact. RK Shuttlesworth is always there. Hope they get a good run. Barry Monkey, always there. Impact's men tag division is getting really deep. Must be near 10 teams now. I love that. Tag team wrestling is such a big part of professional wrestling, and not to have that be something that's in or on your show is really a disservice to the wrestling business because it's so big, and it used to be so big in the territories, in the South, in the NWA, in WWF. It was really, really such a big part of those shows and was so much fun to watch. There were so many tag teams I loved. I can't even name them all. Jeff and I, we did those top 10s. I couldn't even think of it'd be hard for me to think of a top 10 list of tag teams. I like so many. And it's just a great part of professional wrestling. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, Motor City, awesome. Glad they won. And I can't wait to see where they go from here. All right, man. I think we have one more, and then we're getting to grievances.
One more, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Hard to Kill, January 13th. It's a Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, my favorite day ever. Yes, it is. Hard to Kill. This is the next Impact pay-per-view. So obviously, number one, make sure you join us for the stream. This is their kickoff for their pay-per-view schedule of 2023. And there you see two of the participants we already know. That Josh Alexander and Bully Ray will be going for that Impact title. We all know the story between those two, and we still have more to come. And of course, Mickie James going up against Jordynne Grace. And the kicker to this, is this it for Mickie James? Is this the last time we see Mickie James wrestle on Impact Wrestling? So could it be that this is the last stop for the last rodeo? And I'm sure there's a lot more matches to come. But I think it's going to be a really, really great show on a Friday the 13th. Like I said, it's awesome. We're hoping that we may get some horror involved a little bit. You saw the logo, right? The logo very much like a Friday the 13th horror movie logo. So maybe we get a little some of that with maybe some returns. We got a little bit of supernatural from a very unexpected person on Impact Wrestling this past week in Taylor Wilde. So very, very, very different and very, very cool. Very excited for that. And as we roll into 2023, we know what we've got coming, right? January is exciting because we have the Rumble to look forward to, but don't overlook Hard to Kill, especially if you're an Impact. And you know what? We're talking about it anyway. Wouldn't it be a great start for some people who want to come out and watch Impact for the very first time? Very first show in the new year. If you have not watched it, wouldn't it be a cool place to start? Come out and check it out. It's going to be a great show, and I'm excited. It's not that far away. It goes fast. We're less than a month. So it'll be here before we know it. And we'll start getting more and more matches filled in for that card. But I'm excited, Jeff. I think that's going to it's a turnaround for Impact every year. It's new stuff. We're going to get new people. We're going to get new matches. We'll probably have Gresham in a match. That'll probably be where we're going to wrestle Eddie Edwards. So I'm excited for Hard to Kill.
Yeah, Hard to Kill is going to be amazing. And what they've done from a storyline perspective has been tremendous. And you look at these promotions doing these shows, especially close to the holidays, and they kind of taper off in terms of quality, if we're being honest.
Yep.
But I gotta say, and I'm gonna give kudos to WWE too, the last two Impact shows have been tremendous.
They have.
SmackDown this past week was tremendous. I hope they keep that momentum going. But yeah, I am so interested to see what happens with Bully Ray and Josh Alexander. Like that for me, I want to see what happens because I feel like we're going to get something, and I honestly can't wait for what we see because I'm telling you, talking about vets and old school and all of that, Bully Ray is showing you why he's one of the best heels ever.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. He was on Busted Open talking about it with the thing with him and Tommy, and he came out and said, I'm sure he believes this. Like what Jeff just said. He came out and he said, you know why? Because I am the best heel ever to do it. And he believes that.
He
absolutely believes that. And you know what? It's a little tough to argue. You're going to name names and say more people, but he is really, really, really good at it. Really, really good at it. And when you think about a heel, you put all that stuff into perspective. It's not just being the personality. It's putting people over. It's doing everything that the heel is supposed to do. But that match is going to be insane. Remember how personal it got.
Yeah.
He attacked Josh's wife. I mean, there's not really much more personal you could do. Almost like Moose was going over his house, did that home invasion. I mean, that's a really heely thing to do. It's gonna be fun. That night should be a really interesting streaming night because not only will we have Hard to Kill, there will be a SmackDown that day too. They know that it's Friday the 13th as well. You might think you might see something from somebody else supernatural on that other show as well that day. So that should be a really fun thing. I'm also thinking personally that I may get a first glimpse or maybe even a first teaser of Crystal Lake that day too. It won't be ready to go because they haven't started filming and stuff like that yet, but I may get something, even if it's a teaser or a poster or something along those lines. So I am really fired up for that day. Really, really excited for that Friday the 13th. So
it's going to be a good day.
Yes. Damn, I hope WWE is thinking like Impact with Bray on that day. Tazzy says, James said FTR claimed Usos, Briscoes, Bay and Austin, MC, MG, Aussie Open, GOD, Samoan SWAT team, Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. There you go. Top 10 tag teams for me. I hate that Impact's pay-per-views are always on Fridays because now I always listen. Listen, the good thing is a lot of these are on YouTube, so you can watch them afterwards. I get it. A lot of people watch WWE. You want to see it live. You can always watch, Impact afterwards. Sometimes we do them and then so yeah, you can always watch it afterwards. There's always ways around it. There's dual screens. There's two things at once. So Bully Ray can wind up the crowds. Doesn't need the tired old easy insult, the town you're in. He talks to the crowd and annoys them on a deeper level. Very true. I watched WWE and AEW later. Yeah, it can be done. All right. Well, that was a long bunch of news, which we knew that was going to be. That's why we had to cut the show a little bit short in some ways. Jesse Callan is in the chat. Hello, Jesse. We did see you. We were just chatting about all our stuff. So on to everybody's favorite segment. And, this is getting closer in date to what this is all about. Festivus is right around the corner. And when we talk about Festivus, well, it's just a very good lead in to our next segment, Jeff.
Yep. So I'm not even going to say anything else. Here we go.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
I love it. I chuckle every time I hear that. Now you're going to hear them. So good. We are at the airing of grievances. Jeff and I both have grievances tonight. So sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we have one, the other doesn't. But we both have grievances to share. Jeff, you want to start? You want to go last? Mine's kind of short. You want to go after me?
Yeah, I can go after it.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Mine's kind of a little bit of a humorous one, but in any case, okay. So again, very, very quick, small one for me. Jeff's got a bigger, more detailed one tonight. So it's getting close to Christmas. Now, one of the things that, again, please, I hope I'm not spoiling this for you. And boy, wouldn't that be ironic? Consider that's what I'm going to be talking about. But, when your parents would go out of their way to do all the stuff that they would do and, decorate and then get the gifts ready and all that kind of stuff, and they'd put them all under the tree, right? And when you were young, you were told that it was from Santa, right? You had the writing different or something on the box and stuff like that, and all that stuff. Wasn't it a magical time? It's a magical time for children, isn't it? That's what Christmas is. It's a magical time for kids, right? Because and when you're adults, it then becomes where you are giving a magical time to them. And that's when it turns into, it goes from being a young kid when you're receiving the gifts to going to be an adult when you're seeing the children that you have, or younger brothers and sisters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, go through that as well. Wouldn't it be rotten if someone, I don't know, let's say some stranger snuck into one's house, right? And not to do any violent damage or burglarize you, but let's say they snuck into your house, right? And they grabbed up all of those really cool gifts that were addressed to you, and you thought you were going to get them on Christmas morning, and then they tore into them, and they carried them up, and they woke you up out of bed in the middle of the night, and they said, here's all these gifts. Look at what you got. You got this, you got this, you got this, you get... What a big downer that would be, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be a big, huge day? All that stuff you waited for a year to go down and get to open your gifts, that excitement you had to open that new thing and to see it and unwrapping and doing all that is all a big part of it, right? And getting to see the expression on your, the expression of the smile on your face. And then somebody just comes in and ruined it for you. This is a lesson. A lesson about spoilers. Talked about this on here before. I had to reiterate a little bit, though, because it's starting to get a little bit different now. Spoilers are horrible things. Okay? Now, we are in an age of information. People want to know. I always want to know. I want to know. I get it. But please always remember, please, and I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to other people who are doing things out there similar to what we do and things like that. But always remember that there's always people out there that don't want you to open their gifts. They want to get them that day, and they want to live the surprise. Okay. I detest, and this is why I said earlier about Abby's and the stuff. We're never going to be a show that's going to talk about that stuff. I get it. Listen, I've seen it. Okay. I've seen it. So I know what it is. But yet, I'm not going to go out there and I'm not going to come on this platform and tell you what it is. Because you know what? There are people out there who avoid it. There are people out there who can wait. There are people out there who have patience and they don't want to know. Okay? If you want to know, great. That's fine. Go have at it. I, however, am not going to make that choice for you. Okay? We're not going to make that choice for you. So the lesson here is all I'm saying is that, please be wary that not everybody is the same. Please be wary that even though we live in an age of we have to know, it doesn't always mean that everyone wants to know. Okay? I know C did a video, James, but he started his with a disclaimer. That's okay. I mean, he started his with a disclaimer and said, hey, if you don't want to watch, please turn it off. There are people out there who don't do that. They purposely post things to Twitter so that you can't help. But when you turn it on, bloop, there's the picture of whatever it is you're talking about. Here's the stuff from, and I knew it was going to happen. I told everybody that the minute that we were told that there were going to be SmackDown tapings, I knew you were going to go on there. The minute you see Bray Wyatt or hashtag Bray Wyatt is trending, Bang, there it is. Because someone's going to do it because they want the attention. They want their tweet to blow up. They want to see thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of likes. What it does for them, I don't know. Because in the end, they're still nobodies. There's still people who might have 3 followers on Twitter. So what it really did for them, I don't know. To me, it's kind of sadistic because all you're doing is ruining it for people. Because now, if they're watching specifically for that show, for that segment, why would they watch? They won't. Why would you? It's already spoiled. It's over. So that's all I really have to say about it. I just think that people need to really think before they do stuff, because you have to understand that not everybody is into that. Not everybody is, everyone's different. Not everyone wants to know ahead of time. A lot of people do. I get it. But there are some people who don't. And even if it's a small minority of those kids that loved to be surprised with the gifts under the tree, I'm not going to be the Grinch or be responsible to be being the Grinch that's going to come in and tear up their gifts and show them ahead of time. That's all.
That's a good one.
I themed it. I worked it in with the theme.
Yeah, you did. You did. I like that. Mine, I can't really work in with a theme. Because I'd love to be able to, but yeah. And I love James's comment there.
This is not a spoiler or a prediction, but people who intentionally spoil things are complete wankers. Yes. Very well put.
Very well put. I like that.
I'm gonna eat it. I'm just so you know, my wife and daughter are baking cookies, so I'm eating a little cookie while Jeff is going to. While Jeff's gonna do his grievance.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and get started, and my grievance is this. I have the Mandy Rose situation. I have my thoughts and opinions about what happened. I don't post them all over social media because a lot of times I want to save it for this and, to add to the content that we're doing, and things of that nature. So I don't say a lot about it on social media. I don't fault people for saying things about it on social media, except for those that I will get to in a second. If you are legitimately invested in Mandy Rose as a performer, appreciate the work that she's done, which, by the way, what she did in NXT was absolutely tremendous. Like I was anticipating after the beginning of the year, once she dropped the title, that she'd move back up to the main roster. That's what I, anticipated.
Yep.
So if you're a legitimate fan, you're supporting her, you're voicing your displeasure with the decision. I get it. My grievance is for the people who basically hijack causes and hijack movements to display their hatred for something. And I'll give you a prime example of this. I was on Twitter the other day, right after she got let go, and I saw different people's reactions, that kind of thing, and I came across one account that was basically like, I don't watch them, but, and basically when I saw I don't watch them, but, when you can't even put WWE, you just say, I don't watch them, but I already know that what you're going to say next really doesn't matter. So it's those people who take to Twitter, take to social media, and jump behind the cause and say, yeah, see, WWE's terrible. Why do you guys still watch it? Stop pushing your agenda. If you don't want to watch something, don't watch it. No one's forcing you to, but allow people to make that same decision for themselves. They don't need you hijacking this. And it's just like with a lot of causes, a lot of political causes, a lot of socioeconomic causes, a lot of these different things. I see people hijacking these things to bring attention to themselves and their agenda as to them actually being invested in what's going on and investing that way instead of trying to detract and distract and get the attention for themselves. So, you can feel how you want to feel about WWE, but if you don't watch it, I don't really give a crap what your opinion is because you don't know what's going on. And if you've not done the research and if you haven't figured out that, there's still a lot of information we don't know, then all you're doing is using this as an opportunity to hate. That's all you're using it for.
Yep.
So either don't watch it and just stop talking about it, or stop jumping on the controversial topics, or watch it. But don't crap on something when you don't know all of it, and don't use it to make it about you, because ultimately Mandy Rose being released, folks, is not about you. It's about her. And that's all I have to say this week.
It's very true. Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating, and I can totally understand Jeff's point here, because why do things like he just said that don't concern you personally have to become a rallying cry for something completely different? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand that mentality. Basically, there are people that are just looking to attack something and just need any little in route to do it. But here's the thing. Why even bother with that? What is the problem with, if you don't like something, just coming out and telling people why you don't like it? Why do you have to have a workaround? Well, mostly it's because they're cowards and they like to just hide behind things. But I mean, my gosh, it's not hard. If you don't like a certain thing, just come out and say you don't like a certain thing. If somebody asks you why, tell them why. There has to be a reason, unless you're just a hateful person and you just don't like anything, which, I mean, I guess that could be the case. Or on the other hand, you're just a troll and you just like busting people's balls online all the time, which I guess some people get off on doing that too. But yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. What sense, like when you take Jeff's last point, it's not about you. It's not about you. And it's not about you disliking a company for whatever reasons you have. It has nothing to do with you. So yeah, I totally agree. That's a great one. Great one, man. Well, there you go. I guess you could say this was the Festivus edition of Airing of Grievances, because we won't be on again before Festivus. So there you go.
There you go.
Again, Noob says fans are fickle because they want to use YouTube for attention and pushing agendas and express. I guess attention is a lot of it, probably too. Negative attention is still attention. In fact, I think that's a lot. Negative attention is probably a lot more for people. It gives them a lot of a better feeling of attention, I think, than even good positive attention does. Kook says, I've come across a lot of folks who do and have never seen a Mexican promotion in their lives. Same with Japanese promotions. Joshi promotions get most of the hate nowadays. If I may go non-PF for a second, F the idiots that don't even watch the shows they hate. Yes. Yeah. It's really, really silly, isn't it? Really silly. I'm taken aback by how stuff that's entertainment gets people so vocal. But you know what? They're just like that everywhere. I've come to grips with that. You can look at it from a sports point of view. Go to any sports chat and you'll see it there too. It's just, people just love to hate on social media. It's just what it is. It's crappy, but that's just what it is. All right. Well, there you go. That's our Airing of Grievances segment for the week. And we are going to move on to Sell or No Sell, which we have a little bit of a bigger section of this week as well. A couple extra of those. Just to let you know, then we get the favorite moments of the week and then lighter side. We're going to skip a couple of the segments because we took a lot of time on the first couple. So Here we go. Play along in the chat if you will. Sell or no sell. You know how to play the topic. If you like it, sell it. If you don't like it, no sell it. So here we go. Topic number 1. When and if Mandy Rose does decide to go to another promotion, the best promotion for her to sign with is AEW. Sell or no sell, Jeff? What do you think?
Man, I'm going to, because I'm a huge homer and Mark, no sell it. Because I think the best place for her to go is Impact Wrestling. That's what I think. I think the best place for her to go is there, because if she still wants to wrestle, she can still wrestle. But if she still wants to do this other stuff, she can do that too. And I think for what Impact does, I think she would fit in perfectly. I think she'd be a great heel. In Impact Wrestling. So I'm gonna say no sell, because I think the best place for her to go would be Impact.
Great point. I can't really argue. While I could see the reasons why in her mind, depending on how this all went down, and again, we can't assume, but I could see why she would think or consider AEW, because sometimes, and we're all human beings, if something goes bad, and like let's compare it to going from one company to another, you sometimes like to go to a rival because it kind of lets you say, well, yeah, I'm just going to stick it to you then, and I'm just going to go to your biggest rival. So it could, that could be a draw, particularly for her, depending on how this all went down. But as far as usage goes and where would she fit in, I have to agree with Jeff. Listen, we say this week after week after week. The Knockouts division in Impact Wrestling is absolutely amazing. Nobody, but no one, any women's wrestler should ever have any qualms about going there, because look at what has gone there and have come out of there. Look at the people who were in a big promotion like Deonna Purrazzo is now excelling, has turned into one of the best women in wrestling, and now can pretty much pick her poison. She can go wherever she wants. Let's face it, she can. If she wants to leave Impact, I'm sure WWE would take her back. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that AEW would chomp at the bit to sign her. So why not, right? Why not? You proved, Mandy Rose proved that she can turn herself around. Those things that she was doing in the main roster were not working. It was not going anywhere. She wasn't going. So she, you know what? I'm going to go back to NXT. I'm going to repackage myself, and she did. And she had an amazing title run. So kudos to her for doing that. Since she's able to do that, why not go to where one of the best Knockouts division in wrestling is? Go there. Like Jeff said, she could come in as a heel. Imagine her in matches with some of the top faces that are there, whether it be Jordan Grace. Would Mickie James still be there at that point? Could you imagine if she got a match with Mickie James? Yeah, right. Even if Deonna is up there, Tasha Steelz, Rosemary, the whole bunch, so many feuds that she could have down there that would be amazing. And then would they put the title on her? Could she have a run as Knockouts division champion? Absolutely. I could certainly see that. So yeah, I'm no selling it too. I think Impact would be a better place for her as well.
Yeah. And Joe, before we keep going, I got to shout out. This is cool. I got to shout out A&B Combos Wrestling Edition.
Oh, okay.
I actually watch a lot of their content on YouTube. So if you get a moment, folks, go subscribe. I think you'll love their reactions and their commentary. So go check them out.
Oh, very cool. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate that. A&B Convos Wrestling Edition. Very cool. Yeah, there you go. I'll check it out myself. I did not know you guys were out there. So I will definitely give it I will check it out also. So cool. Awesome. All right, what's
All
next?
right, man. Up next, speaking of Impact, Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green will return to WWE at the Royal Rumble. So,
I've been saying this for a few weeks now that I think that would be a perfect place for both of them to be. I wouldn't even be surprised if they came down together at some point. I mean, obviously the women's is different from the men's, but I wouldn't be surprised if they both walked out together and then both of them entered in each respective Rumble. But yeah, why not? Sure. It's been teased. A lot of people thought Chelsea was the one in the hood on SmackDown that we saw, that we weren't sure until we found out it was Xia Li. So yes, I mean, Chelsea, for those of you who don't watch Impact Wrestling, Chelsea had said when she left that she is going home. So everybody knew that Chelsea was leaving and going back to WWE. Triple H had mentioned her as one of the names that could possibly be a person or a candidate to bring back. So obviously she is back in WWE. Could Matt go with her? You see couples go all the time, right? It happens to be a thing. So maybe they will both come back at the same time. And what a better way or a better place to show up than the Royal Rumble. Yes, I'm selling it. I do believe that they will indeed. Now, maybe not both, but I think definitely Chelsea Green will be at the Royal Rumble this year. So I'm gonna sell it though. I think both of them would be good and both of them would come back at the same time. What about you?
I gotta sell it. I love it. Because recently Matt has been making a lot of comments on interviews talking about how he wants to go back to the WWE. He wants to have that WrestleMania moment, like different things like that. So yeah, and I think Chelsea Green would be great there in that women's division. I think she could help boost it. And Lord help us if they're able to somehow get Deonna Purrazzo away from Impact. If they're able to do that with the current roster, I mean, can you imagine some of the matches that Deonna would have there? So, yeah, I would say that they're going to show back up there for the Rumble. So yeah.
The Rumble's going to be exciting this year. I think you're going to see a good amount of surprises. Oddly, that Jeff mentioned Deonna Purrazzo. She did tweet to Chelsea Green and say, "Hey, is there any way maybe I can see that home?" And I'm like, So, I mean, we don't know the situations of contracts. We don't know when Deonna's is up, but don't be surprised if Deonna ends up heading back there as well. Coming home, the conquering hero, so to speak. So would definitely be cool. And man, Deonna's come a long way. And like Jeff said, imagine the matchups we could get. They kind of need a little bit of a fresh infusion, don't you think? You're kind of seeing the same thing over and over, the Baileys versus the Beckys and the Ronda versus you're kind of seeing a lot of similarity. Get some infusion of some new people in there and get some new things going. I think it'll just help out. So Deonna would massively improve any division she went to. James Chadwick said SmackDown needs more women. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Deonna and Becky would be an instant classic. Agree, James. That's SmackDown's weak spot, says Tazzy. Joe and Jeff, you guys are speaking facts. The Royal Rumble next year is going to be awesome. Yeah, first Royal Rumble. And to remember, all these are going to be firsts. First pay-per-view, first big Rumble under that new regime. So yeah, if you don't think that they're going to be different, I think you've got something coming for you. All right, topic 3.
Topic number 3 this week. Sticking with WWE, there's a double standard when it comes to releases in WWE. Oh man, I've been waiting on this one.
Hard sell. Unfortunately, but yes, there is. By a double standard, you have one person who's gone that gets revered and talked about and supported, and then you have some that go that aren't. There isn't even a word mentioned. Some people don't even know they're gone. So yes, there is. If you want to look, it's awesome to support people. It really is, and the wrestlers love it, right? But if you're gonna support people, support them through a lot of not just the good, but the bad too, right? But if you're gonna support the wrestlers in things, please make sure of one thing and try to be consistent. Don't just say, well, I'm here for them and man, I'm behind you. But then on the other hand, something similar happens to someone else, and you either, well, who cares? Or you totally are indifferent to it. You know, that's what we mean by a double standard. So just try to remember that, yes, some names are bigger than others. That's always how it's going to be in wrestling, but that doesn't mean that one person gets let go and wow, they should be, backed and supported. Man, we did. And then this other person just falls under the radar and no one cares. Just try to be fair across the board. I mean, that's it. James said, I try to support everyone. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely sell it. I do believe that there is definitely a double standard, especially with the WWE releases. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah. There you go. I'm going to sell it. There's a double standard. And I'll even take this a step further and say the other part of this too. I think companies also have double standards when it comes to the people that they release.
Yep.
Because we know the stories that are out there. We know which WWE superstars have been in trouble. We know which we know who's been let go and who hasn't.
Yep.
And and this isn't, let me preface this by saying, this is not me trying to say fire anyone. But if you're going to apply the code to one person, shouldn't it be applied to everyone? And it hasn't been. And as fans, I think a lot of times, and you know what? In some cases, justifiably so, because WWE has earned themselves a lot of hate over the years. But I think a lot of times it's just used to make them look a certain way, and it is what it is. But there's a double standard.
Yeah,
there's a double standard.
Yeah. That's a great part to look at it from too, the company's point of views. Yeah, absolutely. Because what a lot of people are going to say is, one of the latest things that probably everybody knows about is what's going on with Matt Riddle. From what I understand, this isn't the first time. And, so how much is tolerated and then how much isn't? That's a double standard too. Why do people get second and third and fourth chances? And then there are some other people who are gone. That's true. You especially, as a company, you need to be fair across the board. It sets a bad example if you are playing favorites because of how much TV time or how much ratings on TV that particular wrestler might be getting over someone else, or maybe the program that they're on is just higher up on the importance scale than the program that someone else is on. That's a fantastic point. You're setting a bad example. If you are doing that, it's what it's going to do. It's going to make future wrestlers or employees think twice about going to that company, because they're going to be like, well, damn, is this going to happen to me? Am I going to maybe make a mistake, have something happen that is bad or something like that I didn't really plan on happening, but it does. And am I going to be let go? It's going to be in the back of their minds. And so, yeah, you can't think that way as a company, and you have to be a little more conscious of that, because that will certainly, especially with other competition out there now, that'll certainly change the way people feel about the company. So very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
The Usos. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You can't play favorites. It's never a good thing. It sets a really, really poor example. I've learned that in retail management. You cannot do that. And sometimes it's hard to do. You might just, as a person, just get along really well with someone, right? And then maybe the other person you don't necessarily get along with really well. Maybe you kind of acknowledge them, but you don't really get along with them as well. And then all of a sudden it becomes a very sticky situation because maybe you don't discipline that one particular person as much because you get along with them a little better. It's hard to do. It's really, really hard to do, but you do have to be aware of it. Yep. Good point. All right. Next topic.
Yeah, we're going bonus topics tonight. So topic
Bonus.
4. Topic 4. Impact Wrestling should continue current practice of shorter term deals for incoming talent, sell or no sell.
I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this because I get this all the time from people that watch Impact or maybe don't watch because they don't like the fact that people don't stick around. You know what, though? I'm going to say, and you may not agree, I'm going to say sell this. I'm going to say sell it.
I love it.
I'm going to say sell it. And I'm not doing this because I don't like to see people stay around. But what I think it does is I think it makes it more of an option for them to give it a shot because they come in, they test the water, they get their feet wet, and then they find out, you know what? I really kind of dig it here. I like what these guys are doing. So I think that the long-term contracts, I think, make people a little more wary because they're like, I don't know. Like let's take who the ones who we just mentioned, Chelsea and Matt Cardona, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got an opportunity to go from one place, go to another, and then have the matches that they had in this other wrestling company. They did really, really well. And now you never know what opportunity is going to come around, right? So, and then this whole landscape changed with Vince. And now all of a sudden there's opportunities for them to go back. So I think it's a good thing. I know a lot of Impact fans may not agree because you do want to see them stay. And I get that. I really get that. There's a lot of people who left Impact who I was very sad to see them leave. But for them, they're going out and they're trying to live their dreams and they're trying to get, and I don't think it's even personal. I think it's another thing that a lot of times we make personal. It becomes a thing. Well, they must hate Impact because they're leaving. Not necessarily. They might just be. I mean, take Mia Yim for example. Mia Yim posted a very nice post on her Twitter about Impact and a very lovely thing that she said and how she really cherished her time there. And at one point, she said she would love to retire there. Circumstances changed. Mia at that point in time never knew that things were going to change the way they did in WWE. So now she feels like, you know what? I want to go back there. Remember where she was, guys. She was in Retribution, right? That garbage faction. And would you really like to walk out of that big dream that you had in that way? No way. And if you have the chance to go back, you do it in a heartbeat. So I think it's fine just the way it is. I think it's fine just because, again, now we just talked about Jonathan Gresham. Would Jonathan have come if they said, no, you're going to sign a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal? Would he have come back? I'm not so sure. So I'm going to say sell it.
So you've almost talked me out of my original. But I'm going to stick with my guns here. I'm going to say no sell.
Okay.
And my reason for no sell, I'm on the fence with it, but this is kind of the direction that I'm coming from. I'll say that with some talent with Impact, what they've done over the last little bit is you'll notice this, like with Natasha Steelz, or Diener recently, Jordan Grace, they've signed Josh longer term deals because Impact sees them as the core group, I think, of who they can be in the future. These are the people that we're going to ride with. So I think, locking in someone like Jonathan Gresham, you want to lock in those things. But I think with Impact, you're at a crossroads. And I don't mean like they're doing a bad job or anything, because that's to the contrary. They're doing a great job. But I think you're at a crossroads right now. You're potentially if you get on a different network in terms of a television deal, you can potentially see your product grow in ways that you haven't seen in that company since its early years. And that's the potential that you have now. If you want to keep it small and intimate and that kind of thing is fine. But I think the vision is for them to be bigger and be seen more. And if that's the case, I think you have to lock in more people to longer term deals, because that gives you the opportunity to really build out what it is that you want to do from a story perspective, to figure out what people fit where on your roster. And I think having this revolving door of people being able to come in and sign a 3-month deal or a 6-month deal or a 9-month deal, that's great. And you get good pops and you get good stuff on television for those months. But then what's your plan after that? Whereas I think if you have someone like, let's take Mandy Rose, who we were talking about, if she's looking to sign, saying, look, we don't want this just to be another reclamation project where you come here to Impact, prove that you're great, everyone knows that you're great, and then you go back to WWE. We want you to stick around here. And I think with Impact, I want them to become a destination spot where people say, yeah, I know that I can sign a 3 or 4 or 5-year deal at WWE or AEW, but I want to sign a 3-year deal with Impact because I love what they're doing from a creative standpoint. I love what they're doing with their knockouts division. It's a pipe dream. It's something that they can strive for, but I think it starts with kind of getting some longer term deals on the table.
Yeah, great point. I mean, Jeff thinking from the perspective of getting the name mentioned with the bigger companies. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Totally good points both ways. James Chadwick said, I think he would because of Jordan being there. Better TV deal and bigger venues, says James Chadwick. I know I asked this a while back, but does anyone know what happened to Lady Frost? She was released from Impact. That's really all I know. She still, as far as I know, she still works on the indies and stuff like that. So, I know she was talking on Twitter. Saraya asked who people would want to be her tag team partner, and Lady Frost has put up a post underneath it saying, "Hey, over here." So yeah, nothing. Listen, I loved Lady Frost. I thought she was awesome. But she moved on, obviously. So. Not sure how quick Impact will get big. Well, who knows? Like I said, hey, listen, stuff getting attention, Arcade Shuttlesworth. Keep putting that match between Josh and Speedball got a lot of attention. A lot of attention. So it keeps getting attention. I think a lot of and hopefully they're in talks about maybe getting that bigger television deal or something bigger to come. So let's hope that the thing that they had overseas now with that company they signed on, like I forget the name. The name's lost right now, but that the deal that they signed for overseas stuff, that's a big part of it too. So yeah, great points both. I heard she signed with Mexican AAA. Maybe that'd be all right. Yeah. I feel like Mandy would sign a 2-year deal with Impact because she doesn't need the money because of her other avenues that she's doing. That's almost a little funny. All depends on the situation as well. Marvin says sell. David Paul says sell. Brandon says I'm no selling. Dylan says sell. James Grant says sell. Christopher says sell. Gus says I agree 100%. Also, we're going back to the old question. Okay. All right. I think we have one more.
One more. This is the last one, and this is a tough one. So 2022 was a better year in wrestling than 2021. Sell or no sell?
I know what the popular opinion is going to be in the chat, and I will see if I'm right. Because and primarily, I think it's because of a certain reason, which I will get to. I've got to sell it. I
love it.
For a few reasons. One, the big changes in WWE. Which I think a lot of people wanted to see happen, but never thought they would. So the whole thing that happened, the whole controversy and the lousy stuff surrounding Vince McMahon, the causing him to step down and ultimately, walk away and retire, brought about these big sweeping changes in WWE that a lot of people really thought they needed. And then it even brought about more, where it brought about returns from wrestlers who they never thought or expected to see again. So in that respect, very, very cool. The growth of AEW, and you are seeing, listen, like them or not, and I'm not the biggest fan. I don't watch the show all the time, like I do with some of the others, but the growth of them as a relatively newer company, they're starting to correct little things that they weren't paying attention to before. They're starting to make storylines a little bit better. They're starting to get the people up into positions in their company that are going to be with them for a longer period of time. The younger folks are starting to rise up. So things are changing, I think, for the better. And maybe it was because of that big backstage debacle that they have. Who knows? But things are changing for the better. Impact Wrestling and a lot of the changes that they've made, and the constant, like we were just talking about, the revolving door of talent constantly leaving and people coming in. But I do think that they're starting to understand that if you just get the word out there and they get these great matches and give people matches essentially for free on free TV on a Thursday night, not even on a pay-per-view, that you're going to get eyes on the product. Bringing in these veteran people that can help sell it, like Bully Ray and Dreamer, are talking now constantly on Busted Open. Let me tell you, listen to Busted Open all through last summer, and when I had Sirius XM, they never spoke about Impact. Never. The word was never uttered. Now it is, because those two guys are on the show, but also they're starting to talk about it as their weekly winner, which is their best show of the week. It's been mentioned more than a few times over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So the stuff with Ring of Honor, is that going to come back out? And I know there are tons more out there. AAA, New Japan, with the TV presence now here in the United States. Yeah, I have to sell it. And I didn't even get into the big returns. So all of you, and this is what I said when I would predict it, that are going to say yes, are mostly probably going to do it because of Bray Wyatt. Let's just face facts. So because we know that the Bray fans we have in our channel, and all of you are probably going to just say for that reason alone that it was awesome, because you never maybe thought he would come back, and he did. So Jeff, what say you?
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it.
I love it.
Which is crazy to say, because I feel like at the end of last year we were talking about how in the world was 2022 going to top 2021.
Yeah.
We got some great matches last year. We had some great stuff, but this year it's just like everyone is elevating their game.
Yep.
Everyone. And it's been a great year for matches. It's been a great year for storylines, the returns. I mean, Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE,
Shocker.
A huge shocker. So, yeah, I mean, this year was a tremendous year. And if January, the pay-per-views that we know of, is any indication, 2023 might continue this trend, because, I mean, in January, we obviously have the Rumble, we have Wrestle Kingdom,
Yep.
we've got Hard to Kill. I mean, 2023 could be another great year. So I think 2022 was just tremendous for wrestling. So I got to sell it.
Yep. I think the majority of the chat is agreeing. Let's see. 2022 has been one of the craziest years in wrestling I've ever seen. Sell this, not even up for argument. Returns, the retirement events, WWE mentioning other promotions, Uncle Howdy, the Usi thing, etc. 2022 was chaotic. Better year in controversy, yes. And 2022 was pandemic free. Yeah, that's another good point. The matches were better. The stories made more sense. So many wrestlers returning to WWE, said James Grant. Sell it for 2 reasons. Triple H and Bray. Sell 2 reasons. Triple H and Wyndham, says Alicia. Both Alicia and Mark. David Paul says sell. Tazzy, sell, 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 sell. Chris says sell. I 200% sell, says Brandon. Sell, says Dylan. Sell, says Sean Rousset. Sell, says James Chadwick. Sell, says Marvin and James. And oh my gosh, it looks like everyone is pretty much in agreement here. Breaking of the Forbidden Door makes it a major sell. All the independents in their growth, says R.K. Shuttlesworth, was even better for international promotions in Japan and Mexico post-pandemic. Unpopular opinion, Cody Rhodes' return was bigger shock than Bray. You can go vote on that. That's one of the questions. Biggest return is on our TIGS award, so go vote. If you haven't done so already, it's out there everywhere on our social media platforms. Please vote. We already have, I think we're getting close to double what we had for last year, so some of them are close. So if you want to make your opinion heard, go and vote if you hadn't done so already. If anyone told me in 2022 we would see Vince retire, Cody Rhodes return, Dakota, Bray, Tegan, and so many more, and building up great stars in NXT like Roxanne, I would have said you were insane. I am selling it, says Zeke. Sell, says Gust. The Coog says, wonder what 2023 will bring us. You won't have to wonder. It's almost there. It's almost there. Derek says sell, and Gus says I voted. Thank you. There you go. That is Sell or No Sell, the extended edition on this Festivus edition of the Between the Ropes show. All right. Up next, we've got our favorite moments of the week. Jesse, if you're out there, you can start getting warmed up because we've got Lighter Side coming up right after that, and we're going to get out of here. So top 3 moments of the week, please let us know yours. Please put them in 3, 2, and 1 like we're going to do because it makes it easier for me to read it. So let's start. Jeff, number 3. What was your number 3 moment of the week?
Ooh, number 3 moment of the week for me had to be seeing John Cena. And you know, he did a little more of his peacemaker kind of thing. He wasn't completely,
He did,
squeaky clean John Cena. I like that. So yeah, number 3 for me was seeing him show up, and now we're gonna get a match with him and KO against Sammy and Roman, and I cannot wait to see what happens.
Yes. Wow. My number 3. I'm going to do this, and because it's our show, I can. We didn't have this. Of course, we didn't have this particular show from last week, so I'm going to go back just a little bit to a SmackDown prior, and I'm going to say the Milk Dowsing Part 2. Man, oh man. I knew something was coming with Kurt. I just didn't know what they were going to do. I was really hoping it was going to be an interaction of some sort with Bray because I just thought it would bring it all full circle. And even if it was just an apology to him, I knew Bray wasn't going to do anything to him because it creeped out poor Kurt's kids. But the milk truck thing was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love how Alpha Academy sold it, and sometimes nostalgia is a wonderful thing, and I'm all about nostalgia, and I loved that he brought. I'm sitting there, and we're doing the watch along, and I'm like, he's not bringing the milk truck back. He's not. Is he? And then all of a sudden, you see him score. You see him getting the milk cartons and throwing them, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, but no truck, and then all of a sudden, here comes the truck, and I'm like, see, sometimes when you run something back, it works out really well. And that was a really cool moment for Kurt and in his hometown and stuff like that. And I just thought it was great. Brought a smile to my face, made me remember some things. And I always love that. That's one of the things I love the most about wrestling. So that is my number 3. Let's see what people have. Bray Wyatt segment on SmackDown, says Alexa Bliss Gamer 0809. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer promo, says DJ B Tazzy. 3, Alexa almost using Sister Abigail on Bianca, says James Grant. Wait, did we actually see Cena? Oh, gosh. You can't see me. Triple H thinking about having Minoru Suzuki as a surprise entrant in the Rumble is number 3 for David. MCMG winning the tag team titles. Dylan. John Cena appearing on SmackDown. Yep, John Cena. My memory is bad, so I will just nod and agree. Not just Bray, though, even though he is one of my favorites, also carrying Cross, Scarlett, and others too. The John Cena announcement. I think we get the seeds of Sammy's ouster on that SmackDown. 2023, Rick Boogs. Yeah, he may be close to coming back. Yeah, good point. Bully and Tommy's promo. Jobber beating Chris Jericho. Oh, you went 3-2-1. Marvin says, so number 3 was Bray Wyatt segment. Number 3, John Cena being Kevin Owens' partner. I have Derek says, I have a grievance. If you don't live in an apartment complex and you're visiting, please find somewhere else to park. It's too damn cold. Off topic. Bray Wyatt segment. Barry Monkey says number 3 is the Deadline men's Iron Survivor match. Okay. All right. Jeff, what's your number 2?
Number 2 has been mentioned a couple times already, but guess what? It was so darn good, I'm going to mention it again. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer.
Yep.
Taking us to promo school, showing us how it's done, and delivering one of the best promos I've seen in quite some time. Yeah, this was tremendous. This was great to watch, and to see the emotion from Dreamer,
yep,
just really made it stick. So yeah, that's my number 2.
Yep. Number 2, Roxanne, winning the title. I have admired her since Ring of Honor, and the little bit of it that I watched. And of course followed her into NXT. And although, some people now are going to look at this, and this is a shame too, but some people now are going to look at this as being, well, she only got this because Mandy was let go. Listen, she earned it. And this girl can wrestle. She's going to be in wrestling for a long time. And she's very, very good at what she does. I really enjoy watching her, and I enjoy what she does. And the fact that now she is the women's champion on NXT, what I want to see them do, and I hope that they do this, is I hope they give her a nice little run. I don't want this to be a transition. I don't want it to appear to look like it was a last second thing, because it probably kind of was, maybe a little bit, but I don't want them to make it look that way. I think she deserves a title run, and I hope we get to see that. So very, very cool to see her winning that title. And although then when you found out the circumstances, which I did, none of us knew about at the time, but congratulations. And I think she has got a brilliant career ahead of her. So that's my number 2. Let's see what people got here. Number 2, the personal appearance of Uncle Howdy, says Tazzy, the GOAT, John Cena, the arrival of Uncle Howdy, Miz beating Santa on WWE Raw. That was a good one. John Cena being Kevin Owens' partner, Motor City Machine Guns. Some of these we've seen before. Suzuki disbanding Suzuki Gun at the end of the year. Cena, before you guys get to the last part of it, did you guys see my comment earlier where I said that I agree with Jeff 100% on his grievance, and then did the LA Night line? Yes, we did see that, Zeke. Sorry, I didn't read it if I missed it. The arrival of Uncle Howdy that included the segment. Roxanne Booker T moments. His legitimate excitement over someone who is like his daughter is absolutely heartwarming. Yes. Yeah. Very cool. Roxanne was always the one to dethrone Mandy. It was just brought forward. Okay. Well, good. They may have moved it up, but I think she was going to get the strap anyway. Yeah, you're probably right. Mm-hmm. You're probably right. But I think some people might just say, well, geez, I hope that because they rushed it, they don't just make it a quick thing. So they just moved it up. And that's perfectly fine. All right. Jeff, what's your number 1?
Number 1 for me. Not going to belabor it. I'm just going to get it out. The Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, Uncle Howdy segment. Uncle Howdy showing up. Man, it was awesome. It was awesome. And you know what? there are gonna be some people that say, "Oh, well, that's not my thing," and that's fine. It's not for everybody. But you know what? For me, it was brilliant. So that's my number one. I loved it. I thought that looking at the faces, looking at LA Knight's face, looking at Bray's face, and
Yep.
all of that, seeing Howdy's mannerisms and the tip of the cap and
Yeah.
holding the collar. I mean, I just loved everything about it. So yeah, that was my number one.
I got to go a 1 and 1A, and they've already been mentioned before. My 1A is Tommy and Bully Ray. Listen, I grew up watching these guys. Do I know they can both do it? Absolutely, 100%. Did I expect to see what I saw in that? No. The fact that he had tears streaming down his face just showed you can't. It is not. Let me tell you something. It is not easy to cry on cue. Okay. That is not easy. He brought that from inside. He brought that from his heart, and everything he said, he meant. And that was a tremendous promo from those two guys. And the way Bully left it with the heel part of it at the end, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And one, oh my gosh, how can I say anything else? The arrival of what we think is Howdy, or what we think, well, not what we think is Howdy, but what we think is someone else. Yeah, how could it not? Look, this is, and I've said this to you guys all along, I am a fan of long-term storytelling. I don't care. There are already, you will see it on, I've seen it on Bleacher Report, I've seen it in other places, complaining and saying, get on with it. He hasn't had a match yet. Good Lord, when is he going to wrestle? This has to go further. Blah, 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 blah. Long-term storytelling. I dig it. Like Macho Man Randy Savage. Dig it. And this was phenomenal. From the TikTok video, the kidnapping part, which reminded me of The Dark Knight when the Joker did the video that he had the guy kidnapped that was dressed as Batman, and you didn't get to see him too much, and you saw the white glove, and then all of a sudden you see his face lean into it. Very, very Dark Knight-ish with that scene. And then when you get into the ring, and then LA Knight with the promo that he cuts. LA Knight's amazing on the mic, by the way. He really is. Kudos to him. He comes out and cuts the great promo. And then Bray comes down, and Bray walks out, and Bray is kind of saying, man, you're barking up the wrong tree. I love the dialogue. And then everybody's thinking, well, which Bray is this? Is this backstage Bray? Is this no? Well, we don't know, right? He comes out and gets stomped. Basically, LA Knight stomps a mud hole into him in the corner. And then the next thing you know, you see the promo, the video board lights up, and then you hear, do you want to see something really scary? And then boom, and out he comes. For the first time in this whole thing that we've been waiting for, we saw Uncle Howdy arrive on a stage in full costume, like Jeff said, with the hat, with the mannerisms, and just how he stood there laughing at the end like a ghost clown almost on the stage. No action taken whatsoever, none. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And the follow-up is this Friday. I can't wait to see where it goes. And I'm all in. Not that I didn't think I would be, but it's just really, really fun to see this play out. It really, really is. And for the people that are downplaying it, move on. Go to something else. If you don't like it, cool. I get it. You're not a fan of this kind of stuff. Oh, I don't like supernatural stuff. Okay. I don't like long-term storytelling. Okay, just move on. Go find another thing to like, or whatever it is you do. So yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And they will talk more about this on Abby's tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. So join them for that. Number one, let's see what everybody has. I'm going to go back a little bit here. Tazzy, number one. Next, yes, I'm being an NXT homer, but Roxanne Perez winning the NXT Women's Championship. James Grant, same thing. Roxanne Perez being crowned NXT World Champion. Love seeing Booker T, watching her win. Hope she gets a good run. Marvin also agrees. Number one with Roxanne. Gus says number one, Bray's promo. Derek says 3, Jericho putting over Andretti, Bray Wyatt number 2. Alexa Bliss Gamer says Alexa Bliss and Bailey and the post match. You mean the thing with her and Bianca, I'm guessing. FTR and them boys dog collar match, says David Paul. Derek Fleming says number 1 FTR and Briscoe. Sorry, I'm going back a week, but we weren't on. It's all good. Number 1 on AEW, the jobber named Action Andretti beats Chris Jericho, and the crowd went crazy. Number 1 for me, Gresham arriving in Impact. Never expected that. I love that. That's different from everybody else, Barry. I love it. Dylan, joint number 1, Roxanne winning NXT and the Uncle Howdy segment. Action Andretti was number 1 for Bonus Baby. Same for Coop, Action Andretti. Big Dan, the arrival of Uncle Howdy. Hello, LA. It's your Uncle Howdy. Time to pay the check. That's from Batman 1989. Awesome. Hassan says, I'm back. For my number 1, I'm going to go in different direction. The upset of Chris Jericho. Cool. I agree with you. Roxanne deserved that and earned it. I was rooting for her and was on the edge of my seat that match. That was some creepy shit, says James Chadwick. Oh, WWE just have to guard against going from long-term story into being a story that takes a long time to tell. See, I don't care about that. I'm good. Listen, as long as the story makes sense, as long as the story progresses, and as long as the story is leading to something big, which is what we got on Friday, I don't care how long it takes. I'm personally okay with it. I'm okay with it. My number 1 was LA Knight imitating and trying to mock Bray Wyatt's voice. He did a pretty good job with that. You have to admit. He does imitations really well, and he got Bray's voice down pretty well. Yeah, I thought that was good. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
All right. That is it for our favorite moments of the week segment. And now I don't know, Jesse, are you here? I know Jesse had plans, so I know she popped in. I thought she said she was gonna do stuff, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, we are kind of late, so if you're gonna do it, please come out. Jesse, come out wherever you are. We're ready to roll because we're already past the mark of what we usually do. Okay, so some programming notes. Tomorrow is Abby's Window, 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you join Jody and of course Jeff and of course Dom and a special guest as well. So don't miss tomorrow's episode of Abby's Window. Should be a lot of fun. A lot of things that are going to be discussed on SmackDown. Jesse is here. Cool. Jesse, whenever you're ready. The other Jesse's here too.
That's right. What's up?
Yeah, there you go. We got 2 Jessies in a row right there. So Jesse, we're ready for you then. You may start whenever you like. And love the Funkos. Yeah, that's awesome. I love them too. We need to get them made.
Yeah.
We need to get them made. And so Abby's Window. Then, of course, we have Impact Wrestling at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Now, next Friday, holiday weekend. So, of course, we'll do SmackDown on Friday. I'm not sure if Jeff has his kids, it'll be just me and Tazzy or whoever's going to join. Maybe no, Tazzy I think can still join for a couple more weeks and then he's done. But it'll be me, Tazzy, and Jody. And then Saturday, Sunday, we will not have anything because, of course, it's the Christmas weekend. It's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So, I guess we could say Merry Christmas to a lot of you who will not be out if we don't see you on Impact and we don't see you on SmackDown. So we'll wish you all Merry Christmas and the happiest of holidays to all of you and to your families as well. The other programming note is not programming, but please go out and vote on our TIGS Awards poll. Like I said, it is up on Twitter. It is up on our YouTube page as a one of those things. It's a post on YouTube that you can put up. It's up there. We have it on our Facebook page as well. If you're in the Facebook group, it's out there also. So, also, if you haven't done so, we have a Discord. Our Discord's a little lonely. I think we have like 38 people or so in there, but come over and join our Discord. There's people in there that are talking about, and it's cool because I have it set up where we have all of the things that we do on this show. So there's a section for airing of grievances. There's a section for all that kind of stuff. So check out our Discord as well, because who knows what's going to happen with Twitter. Twitter's going crazy, banning all kind of stuff now. They're
Yeah.
literally banning like everything. Like if you have ties to a Facebook page, it's going to get banned. If you have ties to an Instagram page, it's going to get banned. They don't want you tying into anything else from Twitter or advertising that. So thank goodness we don't have that. But yeah, they're getting a little crazy. So okay, it is time for Jesse. So whenever you're ready, Jesse's got 10. So we'll go through them.
Number 1 is up there.
Number 1, among the things that are so simple, even a child can operate them, are parents. That's very deep. It's very deep. We might be getting some intellectual humor tonight. That's very deep. So there you go. Alexa says Merry Blissmas. Merry Christmas, says Jesse. You want a show on Christmas Eve, Ebenezer Scrooge. Merry Christmas, guys. Stay safe out there. You too, Isaac. And we Justin Turner left the Dodgers now too. Big Dan filling me in on baseball. Merry Christmas to everybody. Have fun and stay safe. Number 2, our child has a great deal of willpower and even more won't power. These are okay. These are a little intellectual, a little deep. Okay. Somebody else had one. Bonus Baby said 2 guys walk into a bar. One turns to the other and says, "You didn't see it either, huh?" Oh, it's much too late. Much too late. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I 100% agree.
Yes.
You ever see people who have the little Christmas advent calendars now of where he falls off the building? And each one of the days you mark off a thing where he falls off the Nakatomi Plaza. Yeah. You know what else is a Christmas movie? Lethal Weapon. The very first one.
Very first one. Okay.
Also a Christmas movie. So yes. Number 3. A dude told me I never knew what happiness was until I got married. And then it was too late. Nice. Don't forget to leave out the protein shakes and meal bars for Santa Claus, everyone. Remember that?
Yeah,
Santa Claus.
that was pretty good.
What runs around a ring but never goes anywhere? The ropes.
Good one,
That's
Tazzy.
clever. That's clever, Tazzy. Clever. Hans Gruber. Yes. Yes. Hans Gruber forever. Alan Rickman. Miss Alan Rickman. Loved him. I've spent 10 years on Twitter, made some good friends, and then some adult child with too much money ruins it all. Yeah, I know. It's really getting ridiculous. That's why we made the Discord, because God only knows. Number 4. What do you call a blonde with half a brain? Gifted. Ooh. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, ouch.
Woo.
Woo. Time to fire up National Lampoon's Christmas. I love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Love that movie. I could watch it over and over again. When he comes out with the hockey mask and the chainsaw and he cut there. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I love that movie. Love it. Tazzy says, I got some jokes sometime. Oh boy. I get the feeling that Tazzy's might be for an adult version of the stream. Just thinking. Just thinking. Folks are sending out Hans Gruber Christmas cards right now. Bobby Heenan, Real American is my second favorite favorite song, Gorilla Monsoon. What's your favorite, Bobby Heenan? All the rest are tied. Okay. Precursor. We have a joke precursor. And because I'm an equal opportunist.
This sounds like a disclaimer.
It does, doesn't it? It does. I'm a little scared now. I'm a little scared. What is it? What is it? For those of you that are horror fans, Jeff told me about it. Go watch the Scream trailer. Amazing. The setting it takes place in. Oh, so good. Smart. Really, really smart. Okay, so this was the disclaimer. So we get, why are so many blonde jokes one-liners? So brunettes can remember them. Jesse has targeted the blondes tonight.
And the brunettes.
Do we still do after the Impact? Only for previews for pay-per-views. Technically, no, because what we found is having people leave the Impact stream and then go and then come back 15 minutes later, it's kind of silly to do that. And people bounce, most people just leave and don't come back. So we kind of just kept it on. If we're going to do our predictions, we just keep it going and just do it from the end. So we don't do it per se anymore because it's just kind of silly to have that separate show right after the other one. Merry Christmas to all and God bless and love you all. Yes, to you too, Zeke, and your family as well. Number 6, before you marry a person, you should first make them use a computer with a slow internet connection to see who they really are. These are very intellectual tonight.
Very.
My mind is like, Jesse's going to get dark. She's going down a dark path. Did you hear about the blonde who saw another blonde joke? What is this? Another blonde joke who saw a sign that said Disney World left. She turned around and went home.
Wow.
Yikes. All these poor blonde people getting picked on tonight. I hope that people aren't watching in the chat or blonde, or you're going to get really, really upset. Really, really upset.
Hey, don't give us a thumbs down because of it.
Right. Yeah. Don't not like the stream because of the blonde stuff going on. I'm checking in on a football game quick. 17-12, New York over the Commanders. Ooh, it's almost over. 2 minutes to go. Damn. And New York has the ball. Okay. Yeah, looks like the Giants may win. Okay.
I hear you.
All right. I don't agree with this because when I use slow internet, I'm impatient and rage, but I was still marriage material. LOL. All right. We got what? 4 more? We're waiting for number 7. Number 7. Look what I'm eating, everyone. Or I was eating. Oh,
there you go.
I love these. Love these. Terry's chocolate oranges. These things are awesome. They only come out around the holiday. They make a dark and dark chocolate and the original one. I like both of them. But they're so good. But we only get them once a year. Only once a year. I wish he was here. He'd have a great comeback because he's a blonde. Yeah, I kind of assumed that with your animated drawings that you made of him with the blonde hair. I kind of figured that he probably was. So we got what? 3 more, Jesse. 4 more, right?
Yeah.
4 more. Keep them coming so poor Jeff can go to bed. I don't work tomorrow, but he does. What's the difference between an outlaw and an in-law? Outlaws are wanted. Okay. That was a good one. That's probably about the best one so far, I think. That was really good. Yeah, that was really good. I know you get them all year round. You suck. Although, you know what, though? It's probably a good thing because I'd be eating way, way more chocolate than I should. So it probably is a good thing that we don't get them all year round. I heard you get little special Easter ones, too, like little Easter eggs. Is that true? Because that they would be awesome. Dark joke in a way. Sorry, who get offended. What's the difference between a WWE wrestler and a soccer player? WWE wrestler will get up after faking an injury. Wow. Pick on blondes all you want. Just leave redheads alone. Pog Patrol continues tomorrow, guys. I'm back at work. LOL. Yikes. Wow. Everybody's getting crazy because they're getting tired now, see?
Yeah.
What did one DNA say to the other DNA? Do these jeans make me look fat? Nice. Cadbury mini eggs. Yeah, are they orange? Are they chocolate orange? Oh, they would be amazing. Tazzy, what is C Wrestling's real name? He will never tell. DJB Tazzy says, damn. Tazzy, I'm totally offended, says James Chadwick. Hey, that apparently that World Cup final was really, really exciting today. I got to see the score and I didn't get to watch, but I got to see the final and 2 of the greatest players in the sport going at it. Messi, right? And Mbappe. Is that how you say his name? Mbappe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it went to penalty kicks and stuff like that. That's was a pretty exciting final.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was.
Number 9. Or did I miss 8? Did I get 8? No,
You
I
got it.
Right?
Yeah.
I used to have a handle on life, but then it broke. James says it was phenomenal. Talking of slow internet, I miss the old dial-up days. You mean that stuff you miss? Would be halfway through downloading something or playing a game, and your mom would come upstairs shouting, "How long are you going to be on that thing? I'm waiting to phone your nan." Yeah, right. You couldn't use your phone. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that well. I used to try to play. That was back in the days when I started playing World of Warcraft. That was still like that. So imagine trying to play an MMORPG with, for its time, decent graphics on a dial-up connection. It sucked. It sucked. Sorry, I can't tell you, says Tazzy. What's worse than Leatherface being your surgeon? Freddie doing your proctology exam. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. C said his name numerous times, but unless you see him say it directly, that's the only way you'll know, because I won't put it out myself. Yes, he has actually. Yes, you'd have to go back through his videos and probably check a lot of them out to find out. But yes, he has. Yeah, dial-up, says RK Shuttlesworth. So we're waiting for the grand finale from Jesse, and then we'll get out of here. Again, like I said, remember to come out for Abby's Window. Also, please, before you leave tonight, we had a pretty good crowd in here tonight. Appreciate you coming out. Please make sure you hit a like on the stream for us tonight. Please, please, please. It really helps us out. Also, make sure that you hit the notifications button to be notified about when we have future content, and sub to the channel if you haven't done so already, please. We're 26 or getting close to 2,600 or so. Or no. What, 3,600? No, yeah, I don't even. 3,600. What am I thinking? I'm taking this back 1,000. There is a Terry's Chocolate Orange Toffee Crunch out now. Wow, damn! You guys get good candy over there. Mm-hmm. Number 10. Did you hear they arrested the devil? Yeah, they got him on possession. That was a good one. Good finale. Good finale. All right. All right, guys, that is going to do it from us tonight from Between the Ropes. We hope you enjoyed the show. This is pretty much a show where we get to come out and just give our opinions on stuff and listen to what you guys say and things like that. So it's a nice little thing to do. We love doing the show, and we're definitely going to promise in the new year we will try to do this more and make it more of a regular every other week thing like we promised. So again, go out and vote, please. And also make sure you join Abby's tomorrow and check that out, and all the stuff that happened on SmackDown, of course, with Bray will be talked about on that show tomorrow with Jody and Jeff and Dom. So please make sure you join them at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, that is it. We are done. Have a great rest of your night. Please stay safe. Please be kind to one another, and hopefully we will see you all for our next show. Have a great night, guys. We'll talk to you soon.